Good evening, all.
Hey, I'll be here.
Welcome. Thanks, Cindy. Welcome to the November 9th, 2021, 6:15 p.m. open session meeting of the Ayer Planning Board. Before we get to the approval of the agenda, I'd like to read the paragraph that we always read. Due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, in accordance with Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021, suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, public bodies otherwise governed by the open meeting law are temporarily relieved from the requirement that meetings be held in public places open and physically accessible to the public, so long as measures are taken to ensure public access to the body's deliberations through adequate alternative means. This meeting will be live on Zoom. The public may participate remotely by joining the Zoom meeting ID number 833-6548-0732 or by calling 929-205-6099. For additional information about remote participation, please contact Heather Hampson, Administrative Coordinator at hhampson@ayer.ma.us or 978-772-8220, extension 145 prior to the meeting. Thank you for your forbearance. First order of business to approve the agenda. Do I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Krantz, for making the motion.
Seconded.
Seconded by Ms. Murray. Thank you. Any discussion from the board?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Diskin, please.
Yeah, I'd like the board to consider moving the discussion of Stratton Hill peer review consultants to the end of the meeting after the 99 Fitchburg Road, site plan review discussion, so that the folks that are attending for that discussion can be heard, and we can discuss the Stratton Hill peer review later in the meeting.
So that I'm clear.
An amendment that we move that to
Yeah.
later in the meeting.
Yeah, thank you. I'm looking at the agenda. So just the first item, discussion, Stratton Hill, peer review consultants, not the other two, which
Not
were
the-
a continuation.
Correct, just the discussion.
Okay, thank you. Just so I understand. Anybody have any comments to that on the board? I thank you, Mr. Diskin. Actually, when I saw this, I was troubled by it. We've been very clear to let people know that if we were going to take up any business at all about Stratton Hill, we'd let them know it. And first of all, Mr. Diskin, thank you. I appreciate it, and I'm open to moving it, but I'd like the board to consider deleting it from the agenda. And the reason to delete it from the agenda is I don't think folks from the neighbors and the abutters, they may not think we were being transparent when we told them that the next time we'd bring this up would be in December, given the letter that was offered to us by the proponent at our last meeting. So don't know if I'm asking for a friendly amendment, Mr. Diskin, if you would consider it or not.
Well, I'd ask the board to consider relocating it first, and then if they don't agree with that, we'll go to the next step. So.
Okay, I see a way through it. Okay. So the motion is to move it to the end of the agenda. Do we have a second, please? I mean, a motion moved and seconded, correct? Did I get a second on it? Yes, thank you, Mr. Krantz. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'm going to go by your screen position. Ms. Murray, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Diskin?
Aye, we're just voting on relocating the item in the agenda. Aye.
That was the question mark in my statement.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. So we're voting now to move it to the end of the agenda. Okay. Mr. Krantz?
Aye.
Mr. King?
Aye.
And chair votes aye to move it to the end of the agenda. So that piece of business is taken care of. Anybody else have any other concerns about the agenda before I bring mine forward? Thank you all. For the reasons I just stated, in that we've been very open about when we're going to handle information regarding Stratton Hill, that number one. Number two, the other thing is, I believe this went on to the agenda I don't know this, but we did have a site walk, but half the people who were there to discuss peer review consult, that I would assume we were going to be in the discussion with peer review consultants, weren't at the walk. So I would actually like to make a motion to delete the item discussion Stratton Hill peer review consultants from the agenda this evening.
I'd like to hear from Mark first before we vote.
Yeah.
Do I have a second? Excuse me, do I have a second for that motion? If I don't have a second, it dies, we go forward.
Second,
Thank you, Mr. Diskin, for the second. Okay. Board, excuse me, Mark, board have any discussion? We've heard from Mr. Krantz.
I'm with
Okay.
Jonathan. I just wanted to hear what Mark has to say too.
Great. Go ahead, Mark.
Okay, if the board is amenable to postponing discussion of this until the public hearing resumes, I'm fine with that, but you know, I wanted to let everybody know that we did discuss this at an open meeting where we had Stratton Hill open at a recent meeting where I said that, you know, I would like to have a meeting before December 14th where I can discuss potential additional consultants to assist the planning board with review of the plan. And in addition to the traffic study, which we know we obviously need. And so that was openly discussed. I think, you know, I discussed it with several people on the planning board. And I said that, you know, if we do that, we will put it explicitly on the agenda so that anybody looking at the planning board agenda will know that peer review consultants would be discussed. So I just want to state that whatever the board wants to do as far as the timing of such a discussion, that's one thing, but I just wanted to clear the record that, you know, I did not pop a surprise on the agenda with this item, that I thought that it was understood that we may take this up prior to December 14th. That's it.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. And maybe we're just in an odd spot because we do have a great deal of interest in this item. Similarly, we have a great deal of interest in 99 Fitchburg Road. And so I wanted to remain as transparent as possible. So I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on this?
Yeah, Mr. Chair,
Yes, Mr. King, please.
just two questions, quick. Are we meeting on the 23rd of November?
Is that Tuesday evening?
Yes,
I
holiday
haven't-
week.
Yes, I do believe we are. I
Okay.
hadn't heard any, excuse me, Mr. King, we hadn't discussed not meeting, and I was under the assumption that we are meeting and making plans to meet, so.
Right. I just wanted to confirm that. I think that I understand your concern, and we do want to be transparent. I think that also we do have public notice, so I'm fine with removing it from this one. I not necessarily would want to wait to the 14th, so that if we are meeting on the 20th, since we're meeting on the 23rd, and it's been discussed and we can get it out in public notice, I would not be opposed to talking about it before the 14th.
Thank you. So are you asking for a friendly amendment that we move it to the next meeting?
So
No,
Okay.
I'll just let it, you know, if it comes
Great.
back on, if it comes back onto the agenda, that would be fine with me.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Krantz, you had a hand?
Yeah, 2 points I want to make. One, I don't think it contradicts our desire for transparency to have discussion about consultants. It's not ever to talk about the site plan or the merits of the plan. It's about whatever help we might need in making those evaluations. So I don't think that's inconsistent with transparency. And number two, I also recognize that if we were to work with consultants, we need a certain amount of lead time in order to get those agreements in place. And I can understand the logic about discussing them sooner rather than later, because obviously it's going to take time to get the RFPs out and to line those up. So I don't know that it's wise to wait to December 14th.
Thank you. Ms. Murray?
So I think I've had similar thoughts to both things that have been said. I think I'm aware that the residents that have come to these meetings before have asked to be very clearly a part of this whole thing. So I recognize that that notice at least wasn't, when we said we weren't going to talk about it until further down the line, that's the message they were realizing. But I definitely also hear Jonathan and Mark's original point of we got to get some notice to get consultants and people to help us make these decisions. So, Mark, would Nathan's November 23rd be too late, or is it a nicer way to do something in between? Am I allowed to ask that question, Mr. Chair?
Yeah, I'm going to be open about it. Yeah, thank you.
That's what I- at the end
No,
of
to address Julie's question, no, I don't think it would be too late, especially since it's only 2 weeks from now. You know, I think this process will take quite a while. So I think starting before December 14th to discuss consultants is ideal, since there is, as Jonathan mentioned, a lead time necessary to write the RFPs and get them out there. But the 23rd would work for me. And the advantage there too is that people would have seen the agenda from tonight and for the 23rd, as well as perhaps the discussion we're having now. So it won't be a surprise,
Okay.
potentially.
The only last thing I would say is, I could be wrong, but I don't think we have to make this an amendment to the request, because it's just about adding it to a different, you don't have to make a motion to put it on next month's agenda or next time's agenda.
No, as members of the board, we can request that it get put on the agenda for the next meeting. But the issue on the table right now is not discussing it this evening, because lead time to me is remaining transparent for the board is an important part. So, and I know it's just a discussion. So any further discussion from the board? Mr. Diskin?
So for clarification, we have a motion right now that says that we are going to remove it from the agenda.
Yes.
You want to withdraw that motion, Mr. Chairman, and we will make another motion that we move it to the next meeting.
6-1, half a dozen the other.
Right.
I can, if you want me to, I'll withdraw and make the motion that we move the discussion for Stratton Hill peer review consultants to the November 20, the next scheduled meeting of the Ayer Planning Board, assuming that's November 23rd.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Mr. Krantz. So we have a motion and second. Any further discussion from the board?
Yes.
Mr. Diskin?
Okay, so for clarification now, I'm on both sides of this. We know we want the public more involved and we want to be transparent. What I'd like to ask the planner to do, because we did not have it for tonight's meeting, is for him to provide a list that the planning board could review of his recommendations before the next meeting, so we can see that. So we're prepared to discuss the items that are important to him. And then we'll decide on our own whether those items get an up or down vote by the planning board as to their requirements for the project of Stratton Hill. But I'd like to see a full list of the recommended peer reviews or other, we know that the traffic study is a done deal. I'd also like to comment that I'd like to see that traffic study go out to bid as quickly as possible, but we can move that all to the 23rd if you want.
Thank you, Mr. Diskin, and I appreciate the comments. So the motion if there's no further discussion from the board, the motion on the table is to take up the discussion for Stratton Hill peer review consultants at the next meeting of the Ayer Planning Board, assumed to be Tuesday night, November 23rd. If we're ready to vote, Ms. Murray, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Diskin.
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Krantz.
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. King.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. So that will be deleted from the agenda for this evening. Do we have any other discussion about the agenda for this evening before we approve the agenda and start the meeting off? Hearing none, we have a motion. Would you like to make the motion to approve the agenda as Mr. Diskin? I believe you had the original motion to approve the agenda.
Well, I guess I'm trying to make a motion now that approve the agenda as amended.
Exactly. That's what I'm looking for.
Um,
Okay, do we have a second, Mr. King?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Krantz. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Murray, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Diskin?
Aye.
Mr. Krantz?
Aye.
Thank you, and Mr. King?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you very much. So if you are here to discuss the peer review consultants, we will not be taking that up this evening. That's for the members of the audience. Next on the list, Mr. Krantz, would you please do the
Yes.
Do what
and
you
there's no
do so
covenant-
well.
I just want to, there are no covenant bond releases, just confirm that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, thank you. I am unaware of any covenant or bond releases this evening.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion that we continue the public hearing for the definitive subdivision, Wright Road, Stratton Hill, at our next meeting on November 23rd.
Seconded.
Thank you, Ms. Murray. Moved and seconded. Any discussion from the board? Hearing none. Ms. Murray, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Diskin?
Aye.
Mr. Krantz?
Aye.
Mr. King?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Thank you. Mr. Krantz?
I move that we continue the public hearing for the stormwater management permit for Wright Road, Stratton Hill, at our next meeting, November 23rd.
Seconded.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Murray, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Diskin?
Aye.
Mr. Krantz?
Aye.
Mr. King?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, and for the record, Ms. Murray seconded that motion. I'm going to ask a quick question just because that was, we have a third one, I'm sorry, Mr. Krantz.
I
The lane
move that we
clearing,
continue
yes,
the
thank you.
site plan review, air zoning bylaw, section 9.6, land clearing and grading for Wright Road, Stratton Hill, at our next meeting on November 23rd.
Seconded.
Thank you for the second, Ms. Murray. Any discussion from the board? Ms. Murray, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Diskin, please.
Aye.
Mr. Krantz, please.
Aye.
And Mr. King.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Next on our agenda, an A&R for 99 Fitchburg Road. Do we need to reopen this, Mark?
Well, the A&R is actually a separate item from the site plan, so.
Okay,
Yeah, I did review the A&R. I didn't prepare a staff report for it because it's a very simple consolidation of the 3 existing lots, so that it meets what we believed at the time was the minimum lot size of 120,000 square feet in the light industrial district. So I'm hoping somebody from Energy North is ready to share the screen with the A&R.
it looks like Chris just woke up. Chris, are you the screen sharer for the evening? Good evening, sir.
I did. I just woke up. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the planning board. Yeah, I can share my screen right now. I can show you the A&R plan.
And while Chris is doing this, good evening, team from Energy North. Welcome to the meeting. Thank you
Great,
for
thank you.
joining us. Thank you for joining us this evening.
Absolutely. So everybody can see my screen, I presume.
Yep.
Yeah. So this was the A&R lot consolidation plan that we submitted, where, as Mark had mentioned, we're consolidating lots 5, 6, and 7 into one lot with a total square footage of 120,570 square feet. This is obviously the same lot configuration and the same development that we are before the planning board for the bulk propane fuel storage facility as well.
Thank you. Okay, Mark, do you have any other, I'm sorry, I'm staring at the thing, looking at it to make sure everything's here that I can see. Mark, do you have any comments about this for the A&R?
No, to me, it seemed very straightforward, and basically it comes under the A&R provisions. So basically, the planning board action would be to endorse the lot consolidation plan. If you see it to be accurate, which I believe it is.
Thank you very much. Do we have any discussion from the board about this?
Yeah, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Diskin, please go ahead.
Yeah, Chris, could you just bring your screen so you can show us and the public the notes that go with the approval
Absolutely.
under the subdivision control law plan? And just so if
There you go. Thank you.
And then, you know, I'm not sure if you want to go through that, but if you look further down on the right-hand side and bring it down where the endorsement is and the note underneath that. So basically, the planning board has a plan here that consolidates 3 lots, and that is allowed without any further discussion. And there's a signature block for us to sign. We can't sign that live now on TV or on the Zoom, so we have to go to the office to do that.
Mhm.
And can you drop down again to the next note below that where it says the zoning? So this is a note that we are encouraged to see all the time under Mass General laws, which says the endorsement above is not a determination by the planning board as to compliance with the zoning bylaws. That's a general note. So I just want to make people aware that these are typical notes that we see on all approval not required plans in their, as they come before us.
Exactly. Thank you very much, Mrs. Diskin, for that. And at some point in the future, if anybody wants to know what an approval not required is and why we have to not give approval, I'm happy to explain that. But at this point, let's go forward. Chris, do you mind? Can you show me the lower left-hand corner of the plan? I just want to take a quick, we typically look at the whole piece of paper.
Absolutely.
Got it. Okay. I'm going to assume that those are correct to plan references, but they're there. Thank you. You've got the iron pipe on. And now could you see the upper left-hand corner, please? Basically, it's the meets and bounds. And okay, great. Thanks.
Not thorough.
Yeah. And time bound found. Got it. Okay. Thank you. Great. Any other further questions from the or comments from the board?
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Mr. King, thank you. You got to speak. By the way, we're back into Zoom rules. Just speak up. I can only see 4 people on the screen at this point. So go ahead.
I understand, and thank you, Ken, for pointing out that the non-endorsement note, but in the notes, and Chris, if you could zoom in on note 2, I guess the minimum lot size there, and have we determined that that is not true? That 20,000 is the minimum lot size for light industrial?
It is 20,000.
That's a very interesting question. And if I may take a minute, this is something that the planning board will be working on with the planning professionals here in town. We've done our research and it looks like the minimum lot size requirement for light industrial is 20,000 square feet. Some point in the last decade and a half, a typo has snuck in and we will work on fixing that in one of the tables, but in the language of the zoning bylaw, it is 20,000 square feet. Now, the question I think you're bringing this to the table, Mr. King, is do you want that corrected to be 20,000? Or to be changed?
I guess, I mean, it's interesting that we're not endorsing it, so we're not necessarily saying that's correct or affirming it, but it is an error. And I guess since we could, I guess here's my proposal. Can we approve it with that being corrected and then just sign the corrected document?
Mr. Chair.
Yeah, I think
Bob,
Mark's got
excuse me,
yeah,
Bob.
go ahead.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Me?
Yes.
Did you have
Yeah,
your hand up?
I was gonna say that, yes, I agree that the intent was to have it be 20,000 square feet as it's been. But because the town adopted the zoning bylaw in 2017 with the error carried forward, and I believe it appears only in the dimensional table, for all practical purposes, I think before us this evening, the minimum lot size is 120,000 square feet. Sorry, but I do agree with the pathway that the chairman suggested that we contact the AG's office to see if we can amend that without going to town meeting by pointing out the typo and giving documentation as to why it occurred. But in my opinion, it doesn't affect the A&R. We have to go with what the bylaw says, even though it is a typo. And my understanding is the applicant has planned for this in their development proposal. So, you know, I would rather not make an amendment to an A&R plan like this without either town meeting action, or if we get the AG's approval to fix the typo outside of a town meeting, then we can do that. But until such is done, I believe we should leave it.
Thank you. Mr. Diskin, do you have anything you want to add? Yes, please.
I'd agree with Mark, and
Mhm.
I'd probably ask the applicant to read again, the note that's right below the dimensions there, which I think clears the whole table. The two notes on the plan, I think, clear the table by them referring to, the zoning ordinances for verification and additional restrictions and permitted uses and so forth. And then the fact that, when we endorse the plan as a planning board, it's out of our purview we're not responsible for the zoning as such. We can note the error, but I agree with Mark. It doesn't have any bearing on the plan, and they're in compliance with what they've seen as an applicant currently in the town. So they're complying with everything that they're required to comply with at this particular point in time.
Thank you. As you all often do, Mr. Diskin, your description, I think, is exactly, and I was going to say, I agree with Mark also in this situation. Chris, may I ask one more question? Could you please could you please shift the screen to the left so we can see the location map? There we go. Something popped up on me, so.
Is that might be the wrong location map.
That's not the, excuse me, but there's no Walgreens takeout around the corner. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Chris. We would have picked this up in a regular meeting too.
Sure.
We may actually want to get this amended anyway, Chris. Do you mind?
No, that's absolutely fine. I apologize for,
Okay. No worries.
Yep.
No worries. And I think it's okay with the board if we accept this now as an A&R with the promise that we get the right location map in the upper right-hand corner, guys, the right locus.
Mhm.
I'm seeing shaking of heads, but I think, Chris, if you see that as a friendly thing from us, I think we can move forward.
I totally agree, Mr. Chairman.
No worries. And I'm sorry to put your work under such scrutiny, but
Yeah, that's a good one.
that one's going to be a really hard one to fix in 7 or 10 years.
I agree.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for doing that.
Sure.
I'm
Ready
pretty
for a
sure the
motion?
name. Yes, please.
I move that we endorse the lot consolidation plan for 99 Fitchburg Road as presented with the condition that the locus map be corrected on the sign drawing.
Seconded.
Thank you, Mr. Krantz, for the motion. Thank you, Ms. Murray, for the second. Any further discussion on this?
One of the participants from the neighborhood has a hand up.
Yeah, thank you, Ken. I'm gonna.
No more discussion from me from the board, though. Thank
No,
you.
thank you. I was about to, in order to see the map, people, I've got to change my screens around. And so now I can see folks. So I'm sorry, who wanted to speak? Sarah?
Whitney.
Oh, okay, great, Sarah. Please, gotta tell us where you live, kid.
My name is Sarah Withy and I live on Groton Shirley Road.
Thank you.
So this is a map of 3 lots, and then I see like they look like driveways on the side of them. Are you approving the outside too, or just the 3 lots?
That's a great question. And if I may be so bold as to answer it, we are concerning ourselves with the outline of those 3 lots. In fact, what we're doing, Sarah, is taking those 2 interior lines and ignoring them that bisect the trapezoid, if you will. So we're only, I've got it so small on my screen that I can't see it, but I think Chris is showing you those 2 lines. What he's asking to do is take 3 lots and make it 1.
Okay.
And we're agreeing that that's okay.
Thank you.
No, thank you for the question. Anything else from anybody? I don't see anything. I think we're ready for the vote. Ms. Murray, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Diskin.
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Krantz.
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. King.
Aye.
The chair votes aye. Logistically, Chris, if you get that updated and send over to the office electronic, or send it over to the office, we'll get it signed. We'll figure out how to do that. We all drop in and take care of that.
Will do, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. So the A&R is taken care of. Next on our agenda is the continued site plan review for 99 Fitchburg Road. I believe we need to do a open for a continuance. Am I correct? Yep.
Oh. I make a
Got to
motion.
keep you on the ball, Mr. Krantz. No sleeping.
Make a
tonight.
motion, we continue the site plan review for 99 Fitchburg Road.
Second.
Move by Mr. Krantz, second by Mr. Diskin. Any discussion? Things have just moved on my screen. Mr. Diskin, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you. Mr. Krantz, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you. Mr. King, how do you vote?
Aye.
And Miss Murray has gone for a moment and chair votes aye. We have enough people. Let's keep going. I think Miss Murray will be back in a few minutes. Okay. Who wants to kick it off?
I can kick it off, or Mark
I
can, I
was
guess.
just gonna go through a list of everything that I saw that we were gonna discuss this evening. So real quick. So it's not to forget,
This is just staff report, right? For
right,
clarification.
this is from the staff report. Yep.
It's just staff
Uh,
report. Okay, thank you.
Right. So basically, one thing I do not want to forget is before the planning board acts on the plan, whether it be this evening or at the next meeting, the applicant has requested a waiver to exceed the maximum driveway width at the property line, which is normally 24 feet. However, they can go wider with a waiver of the planning board. And the bylaw specifically mentions in section 915B1 that the planning board may approve a modification of these width and radius requirements to facilitate traffic flow and safety, or to accommodate the unique needs of industrial facilities that require wider access drives, which is exactly the case here. So I know it's kind of unusual that we issue a waiver for something that exceeds a requirement, but that's something that is requested here. It's shown on the site plan, and I think it certainly makes sense given the trucks that will be going in.
Excuse me, Mark. Mr. Krantz, do you
yes.
have a comment?
Yes, just for the record, I want to talk about why we would want to approve this special permit. And that is to address concerns from the chief of police regarding the turning radius for large trucks, that they maintain their place in the correct lane and not stray into opposing traffic. So given that reasoning, I think it makes perfect sense.
Yeah,
Right.
thank you. If you don't mind, and members of the board, let's get Mark go through his points. I think they'll all be picked up in the presentation.
Just
Right.
Mr. Diskin, yes.
Just a quick clarification, Jonathan. I believe we're talking about a potential waiver of a regulation, not a special permit.
Oh, I'm sorry, waiver. I meant waiver.
Correct.
Thank you.
Okay. Second thing
Thank you.
is the applicant has prepared a landscape plan, which is one of the new sheets in the revised plan. Section 9.2D talks about screening exposed areas within industrial areas. I won't read that, but they do show that screening. I just had one comment regarding that is when they get to show the plan, I just want to understand why screening wasn't shown around the tank storage area. It's shown around the pole barn. So that's something that we will pick up a little bit later. Also, the applicant has prepared a traffic impact statement related to the number and types of trucks which will be servicing and exiting the property. And that is something that we should have them present to us. One thing I also looked into, and this was brought up at the previous meeting, is it possible to limit the large delivery trucks so that they only enter from the Fitchburg Road side and not come down the more residential Groton Shirley Road, which leads into another issue, which is the street address. The reason why this is called Fitchburg Road, I understand from the fire department, is the old Fitchburg Road actually took this turn that you see right in front of the property. And so that is why this particular property is called 99 Fitchburg Road and not something Groton Shirley Road. The fire department told me that there is a process to change street addresses, and that in this case, Groton Shirley Road probably makes more sense as a name for fire and police safety issues. So that's something that can be also addressed. At the site visit on November 1st, we also talked about additional striping and signage for traffic control in order to assist trucks entering and exiting the site so that there are no conflicts. Additional road striping. And I believe those are the main issues that are outstanding. Oh, and I want to mention too that because they are disturbing an area greater than an acre, it comes under the major stormwater permit requirement. And because we have to post for that, we had to post for that on November 23rd. So the stormwater hearing will be separate from the site plan. And that's something that we had to do in order to meet the requirements of the stormwater bylaw and regulations and the lead time that Heather needs to get notices in the paper.
Thank you very much. I was tracking along and I just opened up. Let me just close it. Okay, great. So that's street address, and you started with number 7, which is the waiver for the driveway width. Okay, great.
Right,
Thank you
yeah,
very
working
much.
backwards a little bit there.
That's fine. I was just,
Yep.
I was trying to track with you from the staff report.
Yep.
Okay, Mr. Chris, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Any comments from the board, or should we let the proponent go
I
forward?
just want to take a minute to thank Mark for putting together the staff report in the method that he put it together so we could follow along. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Diskin. I think it's time for the proponent to talk. Chris?
Great, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. For the record, Chris Tamula, I'm a project manager with Green and Peterson, and our office is located at 44 Stiles Road up here in Salem, New Hampshire. With me tonight are various members of our design team, Jody Amadin, Bob Ballinger, and Michael Skolnick is here in place of Attorney Sandra Gay, as well as Mike Tierney and Peter Kropp from Energy North. So, Mr. Chairman, if I may, I'd just like to share my screen and show you an updated site plan, which was revised based on the discussion that we had at the initial meeting on the 12th.
That'd be great. Thank you very much. And I will ask members, people who are watching this, while Mr. Tamula is doing his presentation, if you could hold until there's a gap, but since I can't see people raising their hands on the screen, you can nudge me nicely with a hello or something, and we will make sure that you get recognized. Thanks, Chris. Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. So as you all know, at the initial meeting on the 12th, there were some comments with regards to some landscaping and some discussion of some gravel versus pavement on the development. And then we had our site walk on the 1st, and some additional items were discussed at that time.
Okay.
At the meeting on the 1st, at our site walk, we the planned submittal timeline was actually on that day. So anything that was discussed at the planning board site walk was not able to be addressed on the current set of plans that I'm showing you right now. So the plans that have changed since the last meeting. You can see that we have some landscaping at the entrance here, We've added some landscaping around the actual pole barn structure in the front. And then we've actually added some trees in the rear, which was requested by the rear abutter. That is part of our landscaping plan. And then the additional change to the plan are, you can see that the difference between this brown is the on-site gravel. This is a paved driveway apron. So we basically added a 20-foot driveway apron off the roadway to minimize any potential for vehicle tracking of gravel onto the Groton Shirley Road. Those are the plan changes based on the planning board hearing. And obviously we can discuss a lot of the other items from the actual site walk itself.
Thank you. Actually, while I've got you here, just if you don't mind, while we're looking at it,
Sure.
on the green area, right above where it says prop electric service, there is looks like a guardrail.
Yes.
Is that just, okay, and the X that's right there, is that going to be a hydrant location?
So that is a pole to be removed. There's an existing
No,
utility-
I'm sorry, the X in the box to the left.
Lighting.
Oh, this is it's a site light.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you. I just wanted to make sure that that's a guardrail of the site light. Okay, and that
Yep.
is going to be and that is intended to be a retention swale of some sort, correct? And snow storage
Correct.
area. Okay, thank
Correct.
you.
Yeah. So the roadway itself pitches towards our site. So in order to make sure that there's no ponding on site, we have a little graded drainage swale along the front here, and then obviously to make sure that there's no potential vehicles, who are actually accessing the propane fuel storage area. The guardrails provided there as a protective measure.
No, thank you. I just wanted to, while I'm looking at the plan, and it's, thank you very much for blowing it up the way you have.
Sure,
We can
absolutely.
understand that. Okay, so, and that would be just, was that just north of the first driveway?
So plan wise, north is up, west
I'm
is
sorry,
left.
okay, that would be
Yep.
east. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
That, we're gonna talk about that again in a little while, but keep going, please.
Sure, absolutely. So the landscaping that we're showing on the plan, we have a variety of arborvitaes, some dogwood, junipers, daylilies, and then as I'd shown earlier, the white pines are shown in the rear. As Mark mentioned, we've also submitted a stormwater permit application. And there was a comment at the last hearing that there was a discrepancy in the stormwater report. So we've updated the conclusion and the actual narrative to make sure that they both say that there's no change or a decrease in the peak rate of runoff, which was outlined at the last hearing. Minor change, but that was submitted as part of the executive stormwater summary.
Thank you.
Yep.
Go ahead, sorry. No, it's later on another plan as a question. Thank you.
Sure. We also provide a traffic letter, which addresses the anticipated vehicles and the minimal impact that will happen to the existing roadway system. Bob Bollinger is here from our traffic division. He can answer any questions with regards to the traffic impact, the letter itself. Additionally, we did receive some correspondence from some abutters. The main takeaway were their concerns about traffic, access, safety, and on-site operations. From a traffic point of view, we feel that the letter adequately addresses the minor vehicle impact. The letter indicates that we have a total of 42 new trips per day. And just so the board's aware, one trip is one vehicle going in, and another trip is one vehicle coming out. So one vehicle is essentially making two trips. So altogether, there's a total of 21 new trips per day, and that would be a maximum number of trips, essentially during the winter time in the peak season of the facility.
Thank you. And did you define that day as being 24-hour day or a 12-hour day? Do you
It
recall?
would be a 24-hour day, I believe. Bob,
Thank
correct me
you.
if I'm wrong. But that's all outlined in the letter. And actually, I do apologize. That would be in the hours of operation, which are 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So essentially, it would be essentially a 12-hour day.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, thank you for sending the letter. I just want to make sure that we get all the information out. Unfortunately, we have to speak a lot of it for the public record. Okay, thank you.
Sure, absolutely.
So it's basically 21 round trips per vehicle of a day.
Correct.
And then on top of that, we're going to have, if I may, you've got 4 vehicles parked there, 4 bobtails parked in the barn structure. Somebody comes to work, they pull their work truck out, put their personal vehicle in that spot in the barn structure. Okay, so the parking is going to be underneath there for the 4 drivers. Okay, thank you.
Correct. Yep. Additionally, with regards to landscaping and the comment that Mark had mentioned, I guess I can address that now. So we do have these 2 above ground 30,000 gallon tanks. This line here with the X's through it, this is a chain link fence. So based on the definition of screening, a fence is considered a screen. So therefore, we feel that the fence, this entire area is surrounded by fence. So therefore, it meets the definition of screening from a landscaping point of view. Obviously, we want to make sure that there is visibility of the propane fuel storage tanks. So we definitely wouldn't want to have any additional landscaping surrounding that, just from an operations point of view.
So you got to the point I was going to ask you about, and the reason I asked about the guardrail and the light standard down on the eastern side of that first entrance. Would the proponent be amenable to using something in that area that would, at least a portion of the year, be not intrusive on what you're trying to accomplish there with that would be complementary to a drainage swale, but also create a line of screening from the road? In other words, if you plant on the road side of that guardrail, and I'm going to dip into my world of knowledge, you could arborvitaes if you want. Deer will kill them, most of them. Even grasses that grow large and stuff like that. I saw your plant list before. Yep. But yeah, if you want to scroll up, would you consider actually putting in place some screening if it inside the swale area, just on the southern side of that guardrail? It accomplish a couple things. Truck lights truck lights in the early morning, in the evening, this time of year would not splash out onto the road, and it would give the folks who live on Groton Shirley a bit of a break from looking in at the tank farm.
Yeah, I don't necessarily have any reservations in not providing that. One of the
Mhm.
reasons that we do not provide that is this is a blow up of our grading plan. You
Mhm.
can see that the guardrail.
Yeah.
This is the guardrail here.
Mhm.
And then coming down from there, we have a 3-to-1 side slope.
Mhm.
So it is a fairly decent size, side slope.
Mhm.
But that being said, we could provide some arborvitaes or some taller screening, spread out. I'll work with our landscaping team and add some landscaping over there. I don't think it's not a real deal killer.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm a great believer in perennials. Anything that you can bring in as a if you ever came to my house, everything out there, the bugs and the birds love, and you don't have to take care of it. And they grow very densely. So
Okay. Yep. No, we can definitely add that. Add that to the plans. I don't think that's like I said, it's not a huge deal.
Yeah, and I think it would just it would go. I'm not going to speak for the people on the street, but we're going from a fairly nicely a wooded area to what would be an industrial. Anything we could do to soften it might be nice. I'd appreciate that.
I totally
Thank
agree. And then I do have another plan. So at the site walk, I know there was discussions with the fire department, the fire chief, and as well as the police chief. So this plan here is basically we took our truck turn plan and we made sure that we incorporated all the intersection here. We have the private driveways here, and then we have Groton Shirley Road coming in through here. So what we've done is, so you can clearly see this blue line is the vehicle tracking. You have the front of the wheels and the back of the wheels. The back of the wheels are the dash lines. The front of the wheels are the solid lines. You can see, this here is the edge of pavement on one side. Here's the edge of pavement on the other side. So you can clearly see that we're staying within, our side of the roadway system, which again is the reason that we have this wider driveway, which is why we asked for that waiver.
Thank you. Hey, Chris, yeah. I'm going to just stop you for a second.
Sure.
Let's start out with truck is coming in off of Fitchburg Road.
Yep.
Going to the second driveway, taking a left into the plant, and then it's leaving the plant in the first. Thank you. I mean, I'm looking at the truck and I see where the trailer is, I see where the tractor is, but I don't think anybody else, other people may not see that exactly.
Sure.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Yes.
And that pardon me, Mr. Diskin. And that goes to the other discussion that we had at the site, where there was some discussion of making this basically a do not enter, driveway. So what we'll do is so this is a stop sign. So we'll add another sign here facing this direction. And then we'll add another sign on this side to make sure that this is a do not enter sign. And so therefore the circulation will still be maintained. They'll be coming into the site and then exiting out that site.
While you're buying sites, please purchase a right turn only sign. While you're buying signs.
Sure.
Thank you.
I just got one thing on that sketch that's up there, Jeff, and then I'll let you finish.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be interrupting, but go ahead, Ken. Yeah.
So Chris, for clarification, if you pull it up the screen a little bit.
One second, I apologize. Do you need something additional, or is that?
Bring the lower left side into view, if you would.
Sure.
So for clarification, the demonstrated location you're showing the tractor trailer is, I believe, incorrect. I think it goes down the wider road. I think that's the old Fitchburg Road, and the entrance to Fitchburg Road is through that wider section that's shown. It would be taking a right down the road, I believe, not going straight across.
No, so we did not survey this entire intersection. This information is basically taken from an aerial view. We scanned it and did the overlay. So I believe that this is the driveway where, so here's basically where I was parked that day of the site walk. This is the driveway that the tractor trailer was actually coming down to go to the facility in the rear. This is the driveway to go towards the other facility. I believe this is correctly shown.
Okay, all right. We'll agree to disagree. on
Okay.
that. one.
Either way, I would
Doesn't matter.
say
In either
if the-
case, it's going to work.
correct.
I agree.
That
it's
is my
gonna work.
point.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
agree.
and if I may, Ken, I don't know if you were standing there, when we were doing the site walk, at the end of the site walk, a tractor trailer came into Echo Industries farther up the street.
Right. It takes a right there with that. He's showing.
Well,
that.
no, we had one that actually went by the plant, went
Yeah.
by this plant and took the right on the farther driveway down just off this plan.
Yeah.
It was actually standing there with Chief Gill and the fire department, what happened, and they're like, yeah, actually seeing a tractor trailer come through.
Yep.
So,
The important part-
Yeah, and we don't foresee any reason, any need whatsoever for the larger transport trucks to be going easterly along Groton Shirley Road. Will there be a bobtail that needs to make a delivery to a customer that may be on Groton Shirley Road? Absolutely. But they're not going to go down that way if they don't need to. The direct route to all the customers and the direct route to the site is down, in this direction as shown by the tractor trailer. So I do believe, hopefully that resolves a lot of the concerns that the abutters may have from a vehicle tracking going through their neighborhood.
and if I may, I'm going to jump forward in the letter you sent to the board. You are more than willing to stipulate that tractor trailer delivery trucks, not the bobtails, but the tractor trailer delivery trucks must use the entrance from Fitchburg Road and not enter from the site from the east on Groton Shirley Road, or exit the site down Groton Shirley Road unless an emergency or other conditions necessitate. But
That is absolutely correct, Mr. Chairman.
so you've chosen that you will stipulate that in the conditions. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I think the only other question that I personally had was, so there was some discussion of maybe adding some striping in the roadway system here. I wasn't sure the extent of what the planning board is looking for. I didn't see any striping out there. So obviously we do have Bob here from our traffic division. He might be able to weigh in a little bit if there's some discussion that the board wants to have with regards to striping. I would say that this general area should probably be maintained as the main thoroughfare, with obviously these other two side streets, driveways, essentially, that nothing is stop controlled out there. So
Yeah.
I'm just not sure of how you'd be looking for the striping to take place here, if at all needed.
I'm sorry, guys. I know I'm taking over the other side of the conversation here, but so that we received from the town of Ayer today an announcement that will be striping Groton Shirley Road sometime this week. It may even happen today, believe it or not. I forgot what the date is. And they're going to stripe with the center and fog lines. I don't know how far down Groton Shirley Road they're going to go, Chris. It may just be the newly paved area. So I'm going to, if it's okay with the board, why don't we get the answer from public safety on how they want that handled? But I know that that road, especially, and it's like all of our roads, we don't like them a lot. It's nice to have a fog line and a center line. So, but I think we would defer, quite honestly, to public safety for that. And we'll find out. They may actually have striped that portion of the road in the work they're doing now. I don't know.
Okay.
You may get there tomorrow and find new striping on the road.
Fingers crossed.
Well, then you're going to have to remove the line on the driveway. I'm only kidding. Grind the driveway line off. Okay. What else you got, Chris?
I believe that's it. I think I addressed the comments in Mark's staff report. If I didn't, feel free to let me know if there's any other questions. Again, the rest of our team is here, as needed.
So do we have questions from the board, please, to start? Or comments?
I have
Sure,
some.
go Ken.
Go ahead, Nathan.
Nathan, you go ahead. Try and trump Ken this time, okay?
Do it.
I don't know. That's a tall order, but I will try. I appreciate the signage. I think it's really important not just to have it be instructional, but also physical signs on the property to require one-way traffic. So that would be good. Another I'll just make a comment on that 5 or 6 way intersection. It is, and we talked with the police when we were there. It is a self-managed intersection. There's no stop signs or anything there. So I think it is. It would be beneficial to the town if there was a little more traffic control striped in there. As you said, those 2 side roads, or as we've talked about, 2 side roads being stop controlled, or would be one way to do that. The question that I have, I guess I'd like to see, I mentioned this the last time we talked, and the field, I think it's lot 5, or previously lot 5, the field to the west, where you're going to be doing your stockpiling. Yeah, correct, Chris.
Yep. I'll just get on that plan.
I guess in the post-construction, yeah, exactly. Yeah, the stockpile. I'd like to see called out that post-construction that will be restored to, field that and that'll be cleaned up. And then well, I'll stop and let you address that one, Chris.
Yeah, we have no issue. Again, this stockpile area is just something we show on the plan from an erosion control point of view. We want to make sure that when they're moving dirt around, there's a place to put this dirt, make sure that it's protected with silt fence and hay bales. And obviously, once that, once site construction commences or is finished, that would all be removed. The silt fence, the hay bales would be removed, and everything would be restored back to, the natural conditions that were out there. And we have no problem adding a note to the plan.
Great.
Thank
Yeah, just that way we're sure the contractor will do it. And then you note in there a number of abandoned items throughout the lot. And is it clear? Do you have a note in there that those will all be cleaned up and removed?
Yep. Any of the larger items, I think there's a boat over here, and all that, everything would be removed. Yep, they would clean up the site. Obviously they want to have a site that looks nice.
I don't know how I missed the boat. Chris, excuse me, based on Nathan's, Mr. King's comment about the landscape plan, can you click back to the landscape plan just quickly?
Yep. I missed that.
Dude, it's so nice with computers. I don't remember having to flip through pieces of paper, right, Ken? You want to look at a plan, you have to stand around and flip through lots of pieces of papers. You have the colored one.
Oh, sure.
Right.
That one's easy.
There you go. Yeah, that makes it easier. So just in broad strokes, the gray down below is bituminous asphalt, bituminous concrete. The brownish color is going to be gravel.
Yep.
That yellow is the roof of the pole barn.
Correct.
The dark green and light green, non-landscaped areas, is that going to be turf, or is that going to be something more of a natural? Because I know the property behind you now currently has turf everywhere. I don't know what they do to maintain it and what your plans are to, if you have turf, to maintain it.
Yeah. So what the dark green is basically the existing tree line. So obviously the existing tree line is, for example, in here, we're cutting it back there. So that's just designating where the tree line is. Everything else would be, loamed and seeded.
So there's going to be some sort of O&M plan for cutting the grass on some schedule.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, again, they don't want this, site to be overrun, with, and look lousy.
Okay, appreciate that. Thank you. Other questions from members of the board?
Yeah, Mr. Chair.
Please, Mr. Diskin.
Okay, Chris, so I wasn't sure if there was a note on the drawing that did specify that was going to be loomed and seeded and what the mix might be, the light green area. So is that shown somewhere? Is there a note?
Yep. 1 second. So as part of our landscaping plan, we have
Okay.
Landscaping, grassing, grass. Yep.
Clear that that's going to be okay. So that's good. Thank you. Can you go down to where the street meets the lot on that plan right there? It could be the grade, but why don't maybe the grading plan is better to see it.
Sure.
Question I have. So the proposed, I see where your lot line is, and I see where the paving is. Are you basically saying that you will be completing some of this, call this swale or whatever in the front of the property by leaving the property onto the right of way? Partially,
Nope.
or is all your work within the lot line? That's my question.
Yeah, so here's basically the center line of the swale,
Okay,
and the yellow that I was just showing was the lot line. So we're just, as anybody would normally do, we're just matching in the proposed grades with the existing grades surrounding it. But the swale itself is within the property.
okay, so the reason I asked that was that if that is the case and you don't have any proposed work between the edge of paving and your lot line, which looks like, I don't know, could be 10 feet, just guessing.
Sure.
Could we identify and potentially keep in place healthy trees that exist in that distance without disturbing the grade, and therefore would get a built-in, buffer that's basically not on your land anyway? And break that down either with a site visit with Mark Ashenbo or another representative of the town who would look at that distance along the road and try to maintain whatever healthy trees we have in place there.
Normally I would say yes. I would say just based on our site walk when we're out there, I would, most of the, so basically here's the edge of pavement.
Yep.
And here's the existing tree line. This existing tree line, although it's shown that close to the roadway, a lot of the time that's really the sort of the canopy of the tree line.
Yep. And
when I was walking in here, specifically looking at this lot corner, a lot of the stuff in here is just low growth brush. My concern would be is once the grading of the swale takes place, that we're essentially going to be interrupting the root ball system of the existing trees, and then there would be some integrity issues of those plantings, especially with regards to the pole barn structure itself. So I don't believe we would be able to save any trees, but we could definitely have a site walk with Mark, pre-construction meeting, and see what we could possibly save out there. I just can't commit to it with the planning board because I don't know what's going to happen once construction actually commences.
well, your commitment to do with this, what I asked you to do was sufficient to me. Thank you.
Okay.
Can you now go back to the landscaping plan and we'll look at that same spot?
Do you want the green, the color one, or the?
Yeah, the colored one. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so I guess my backup plan to that is that, in fact, if it does get completely disturbed, it will be completely repaired to the edge of paving, is what I'm getting at.
Yes.
Okay, all right, that's good. So you're basically showing it to be prepared, be repaired and regraded and loomed and seeded right to the edge of paving in the event that nothing else can be done, I guess. Okay.
That is correct. And I believe the landscaping plan might actually show it a little bit better with some notes. Yeah. So 6-inch loam and seed all disturbed areas.
Okay.
Mhm.
Just trying to clarify it. That's all. Thanks. That's good. So let's see. How tall is the fence that goes around those 30,000 gallon tanks?
Yeah, it would be a 6-foot fence.
Okay, that's good.
Actually, let me, it might be an 8-foot fence.
I think in town we have a provision for the height of fences.
If I'm doing this off the top of my head, and don't quote me, but I think we have a provision for height cannot exceed.
Correct, 6 feet, I think, right?
I thought it was 8, but that could be my past life.
Okay, well.
Yeah, I apologize. 6 foot.
That's
Yep,
okay.
6-foot chain link fence.
Okay. I was just trying to make sure you didn't need to go to the Board of Appeals in case the height was excessive of some sort. So that's all I have, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we have any other comments from members of the board before we open it up to folks who have joined us?
Mr. Chair, just one quick question on
Please.
the procedure for you or for Mark. My understanding is because we have a major stormwater review and it sounds like there's going to be some minor revisions. This won't be, we won't be able to vote on approval of this tonight. Is that correct?
Yes, Mark, I think I saw
yeah.
your hand leave
Oh,
leave
okay,
the
yeah, the
area of
hand,
the camera.
it's-
It's
The
okay, go
camera, yeah,
ahead.
I couldn't see my own hand. Yeah, I would recommend that since we're going to be discussing the stormwater permit on the 23rd, which I believe shouldn't take a long time, given how flat the site is and how simple the stormwater system. But I think that would give the fire department and police a little bit more time to evaluate the striping question that we looked at. So my recommendation would be to act on the 23rd. And also that would give the planning board a little bit more time to just review my recommended conditions.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I would presume
Planning
we
board
need,
might want to act on the waiver tonight so that we don't forget that, but
okay.
the waiver for the driveway width.
And then we'd also need a letter from the DPW regarding the stormwater, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And yes,
Okay.
and Dan is aware of that. And yeah, he'll be getting his recommendations to us a week before then.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was reading a note for the plan. Okay, so I'm going to invite anybody who is sitting in the audience who would like to speak. Please identify yourself. Questions for proponents? Okay.
I'll speak. I'm sorry.
Sarah? Okay, yep, go ahead. Again, you guys are like tiny on my screen, so please speak up. Go ahead. Yep. Go ahead,
Well,
Sarah.
first, I just want to say that the residents in Groton Shirley Road, there were 34 of us who signed a letter to the planning board asking you to impose reasonable conditions for traffic safety and other concerns. And I just want to mention them because people did
Please
take
do.
time. People did take time to look at the petition and the letter, and people got involved in this, and they do care about this, as do I. I'm not sure if anybody else wants to speak, but I just wanted to ask you, the 22 trucks per week, what if that increases? Like, does that go to the site plan review again? Like, say they start running like 40 or 60 trucks down the street, instead of 22 a week.
Yeah. So if I may, let me ask a question, Sarah, so we can talk about, so there's two types of trucks that are going to be serving this property. The vast majority of those trucks, if I understand it correctly, and by all means, somebody from the proponent, please jump in and tell me I'm wrong. I'm so used to it at this point in life. There are delivery trucks, which are tractor trailers, which are filling the tanks. And then the delivery trucks, what they call the bobtails, will be doing the vast majority of trips in and out of the property. Which ones are you asking about? Because from what I understand, Mr. Tamula was telling us a moment ago, is that it's the bobtail trucks that will have 21 round trips or 42 trips a day, if I remember the numbers correctly.
That is correct, Mr. Chairman. The bobtails are, essentially, a UPS size truck, for a lack of a better term, from a scale point of view, compared to a tractor trailer, which is the transport truck. We anticipate in the peak winter season, you may have one transport a day, 5 transports a week total. And during the summertime, it would be 3 transports per week. The bobtails themselves, those are the ones, essentially the bobtail comes in, they get their fuel, they leave for the deliveries, they may come back at noontime, get more fuel, leave for deliveries, and then come back. They can only do, you can only get so much fuel in the bobtails. Based on the information that we have from our client, we feel that these are very conservative numbers, that we feel that we don't really see this being a problematic venture with regards to the number of trucks. And again, the transports will not be going down Groton Shirley Road whatsoever.
Thank you. So Sarah, if I can, just to take a shot at clarifying your question. So now that the proponent has described the big trucks versus the small trucks, the transports versus the bobtails, Your question is the bobtail traffic as it increases. What
Yeah, what
can you
happened?
guys as residents do? I don't have an answer to that question off the top of your head, off the top of our head. As a planning board, we don't have jurisdiction over the roads. The public safety would be the place to turn for that. And Mark, I know I'm going to put Mark Archambault on the spot just quickly because I know you did the high capacity vehicle information for Columbia Street. You pulled that together for us?
Right, yes, it's possible to, but this is something initiated by the DPW, I believe with assistance from the police and fire departments. They have to do a formal study, and there are criteria by which they do the study to do what's called a truck exclusion zone. It's, a formal thing where, they can say that no tractor trailers or certain type of vehicle can use this part of a road. Whether we need to go to that length here or not is, something the planning board can discuss. I was proposing as a condition of approval that we mentioned that the large propane delivery tractor trailers be limited to the entrance from what we know is Fitchburg Road. And I don't think the planning board can really condition the project with the truck exclusion going through, since I'm not quite sure of the entire process by which that is made. It may need to go to town meeting. But, I put that out there as something that we can discuss if there was overriding concern about that.
Thank you. Sarah, does that answer the question, Sarah?
Kind of. It's a lot of technical.
Yeah,
So-
I think if we boil it down, Sarah, it comes down to the amount of traffic that this is going to generate in its current incarnation, if you will, is not excessive on that end of the street. Yeah, I mean, like you, I don't want trucks going by my house all day long. It happens, unfortunately. And when you have a drive-through driveway like ours, you'd be surprised how many Amazon trucks aren't making a delivery, but turning around in your yard. It happens. So I think the answer to your question might be, as residents of of the street, working with the DPW and public safety on future
Yes.
on future truck traffic. Yeah, Mr. Diskin.
I did want to clarify part of what I think was part of Sarah's question, and that's in anticipation that something could happen in the future. And I think the answer to that is yes, they would have to come back for site plan approval in the future. We would be basing our vote on this plan that it would be the amount of trucks that we're showing right now and the tanks we're showing right now. A change to that would be considered a brand new site plan, and they'd have to start over.
Okay, I'm gonna let somebody else ask you about right turn only, but I want to ask you about no Sundays. Last time you were here, I think her name was Ms. Guay. And I think she said that it was her understanding that there was going to be no Sundays. And now, like, we're talking about 5, 6, 7 days a week. Is there anything? Well, that's my statement.
Yeah, and Mr. Chairman, I can answer
Please
that.
do. Please, Chris. Yep.
The plans that I'm showing on the screen, it says Sunday to Saturday. That has not changed. That's what we provided at the last hearing. If Ms. Gay had misspoke, we do apologize, but it is clearly noted on the plan, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Sunday through Saturday.
Chris,
We don't
Chris,
want
I can speak to that.
Sure. Okay. Mr. Chairman, this is Pete Croft from Energy North is on the line right here.
Great, appreciate that. Thank you, Mr. Croft, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I can speak to that. We do not operate on Sundays unless it is an emergency situation. Unless a customer has no heat and we absolutely have to go out there and it's an all-out situation. But we operate in the summer, Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
In the winters, we operate Monday through Saturday, and we do not operate on Sunday unless it is an emergency situation.
Thank you very much.
Excuse me, Mr.
And-
Chair, to Mr.
Yes,
Croft.
Mr. Diskin, yes.
So Mr. Crop, could you further tell us if those hours are correct, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., Monday through Saturday?
They are correct. Monday through Friday, we do put 7 to 7. Most likely it's really 7 to 5. You're not getting much done in the winter after dark. Unless there are extenuating circumstances. And honestly, in the summer, I'd be surprised if they're doing much at all. And then Saturdays are usually light days. In the winter, they'll be 7 to 3.
Thank you. I'm sorry to have laughed, Mr. Crop, while you were speaking, but I had a delivery today and they were trying to fit me in. I have propane here. They're trying to fit me in before it got dark. And the chickens were still out and he has to walk through my chicken run, and I was laughing at the guy because he got lost. He got a little, he was surprised by my chickens in the dark tonight. Sarah,
and
do you have
Mr.
any-
Chairman, if I may just interrupt, and I think that was the point of the note on the plan, is we really didn't want to restrict the fact that there may be deliveries on a Sunday in an emergency. Their typical operations, although they may be till 5 o'clock at night, during the summertime when it's lighter out, they can work till 7 o'clock. So I think it's good that Pete gave that clarification to the board as well.
Thank you. Anybody from the board? Yes, Ken?
So I would request that be amended to reflect what it says, Monday through Saturday, 7 to 7, Sundays for emergencies only.
Thank you, Mr.
I
Diskin.
think the applicant should change the plan accordingly. So before we
Yeah.
approve, we have that correct.
Thank you, Mr. Diskin. Sarah, do you have anything else you'd like to mention at this point? You've got the floor. Please take,
well-
this is the opportunity. Please take it.
I am going to.
Good.
So when it comes, I want to have a citizen comment on the address. It's not helpful for this to be named Broughton Shirley Road. And before the consultants jump in and say this has to be, I just want to say that the town of Ayer has renamed roads before. Like in this area, it's a larger discussion. Like this road might be better having a different name, like just that end of the road. I don't think the planning board can decide it. And I don't know if the fire chief is really, just the person.
We
The
don't,
other
decide,
thing-
we don't decide it. It's the fire chief and the building department decide it.
The fire chief.
And the building
The Board of Selectmen changed the names of James Brook Way back in 2005.
I'm sorry, I missed that comment, Sarah. I'm curious about this because quite honestly, I asked the chief if they could keep it as Fitchburg, and he said he wasn't sure. He was being not evasive, he just didn't have the answer for me at the time. I was talking to the police chief during the site walk, but what did you just say?
This is a complicated property, I think, but in 2005, James Brook Way was renamed to James Brook Way, and that's the road between my house and this property. And it goes, it's, once it gets to Groton, it's the private road. But it used to be called Shirley Groton Road, and mine was Groton Shirley Road, and they ran perpendicular to each other. And like the deliveries and everything were a mess. So then the selectmen sat down and they thought about it. I looked at the meeting records and they came up with James Brook Way, which is a really nice name for that street because it's right over James Brook. And it's just a nice little private area, So I don't know. But the other thing, I'm a little concerned about the driveway cuts. I'll just keep listening. And my last feedback would just be to the applicants about the weekdays and stuff. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna let my fellow residents speak. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Sarah.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, we have no issue, whatever address the fire department and the building department choose for the site. It's typically based on 911, formalities and all that. So, whether it's Groton Shirley Road, Fitchburg Road, whatever they determine, we're okay with.
I appreciate that. And I was thinking about that when we did the A&R because that's going to change. Okay, I've got a hand up. Is it Julie? Well, please, I apologize. Julie Wozniak?
That's okay. It's Julie Wozniak and I live on Groton Shirley Road.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you. I'm wondering why, and I'm sure there's a reason, but I would like to hear it. Why any of these trucks need to come down Groton Shirley Road? If you are having the big tankers go through the other entrance from 2A, why can't they all go through 2A? I don't understand the benefit to sending them down our street.
Somebody from the proponents want to respond,
Yep,
please?
absolutely, Mr. Chairman. So the trucks will be coming from 2A. They will not be traveling down Groton Shirley Road, with the exception of the intersection up to our proposed driveway connection. There's no need to continue down easterly down Groton Shirley Road. Jody from our design team had driven out there the day of the sidewalk, looked around and didn't see any reason for the larger transport vehicles to go down in that direction. So I don't see that being.
Yeah, I think the question is the bobtails. The delivery trucks.
The bobtails will go where they need to go to make deliveries. If there's somebody on Groton Shirley Road that needs fuel and the bobtail needs to go down that way, obviously they will go down that way. But for the most part, I believe that Route 2A is going to be the preferred route for most deliveries.
Even the bobtails.
Yes.
Mhm.
And if I may, it's funny that you asked this. While we were on the site walk, the local propane delivery sent a bobtail up the street.
Yeah. So
Julie,
as of,
he was
Yep,
doing
I
deliveries
do.
up the street. Yeah, he was doing deliveries up that street. So
okay.
it's a we can request that the proponent has heard that the truck traffic wants to be minimized, but if you're a propane customer and you want propane, a truck has to be able to get to your house.
Yep. I'm fine with them if they're coming to do a delivery on Groton
Yeah.
Shirley Road. But
Yeah.
I feel like if they're going anywhere else, if we can divert them down 2A and not down, our street where we live and we have children, that would be great, because the traffic on our road is already great. We've already been fighting the town for 16 years that I've been here, trying to get this street paved, get everything done, and now we're dealing with this. So
Mhm.
I wish I had personally known about this sooner. I don't know how I missed it, but I did. But I have lots of concerns.
Would you like to mention the other concerns that you have now? This is the time and place, please.
My concern is also what Sarah had mentioned about the naming of the street for GPS purposes, and also for resale value for our homes. I'm concerned about the safety of having this on our street. I don't know what that means in terms of if there was ever an explosion or an issue there, how that would impact everyone on our street, the residents here. And then the 6 to 8 feet fence, whether it's 6 or 8, which I'm still not sure what that is based off of this call. And is that enough? I mean, I know a swimming pool requires an 8-foot fence. I can't imagine a propane tank needs less than that.
Thank you. Do one of the proponents want to take on any of the questions, please?
Yeah.
Sure, I'll answer the easy questions, I think, and I'll let Jody chime in on the safety and everything else. The height of the fence is 6 feet. There was discussion whether it's 6 or 8, but it is clearly shown on the plan as 6 feet. Jody, feel free to jump in on everything else.
And that's NFPA 58 code, the 6-foot height requirement for the fencing. And as part of my job, I conducted a fire safety analysis with the local fire department, and we assessed the risk and they reviewed the design. And as part of the site walk, I made available to the board the process and the review that a facility of this nature has to go through, both locally and at the state level. And as I read through the conditions, the fire chief had asked that it go through local approval, go to the fire marshal's office for approval before he issues a flammable license. So there's a great deal of safety and review by a number of individuals, both locally and at the state level at the fire marshal's office.
Thank you. Thank you. And I'm going to jump in and just say one thing. Jody said NFPA at the beginning. That's the National Fire Prevention Association, which I know it doesn't sound like it's important, but that's actually what our fire departments follow. It is.
It's
that's
a federal code.
It's a federal code. It just has a weird name, like a bunch of people do things like it's an association, but that's actually the fire code. That's the federal fire code.
And that's the federal fire code. 58 is specific to liquid petroleum, to propane.
Yeah.
So.
Thank you.
Yeah, Julie, do you have anything else? I'm sorry, Sarah, I see your hand going. I've got lots of hands up at this point, Sarah.
Okay,
so-
good.
Yeah, okay. Julie, anything else, Julie, at this point?
I'll see what
Did they
others
hand-
bring up, but I might be back. Thank you.
Okay. Heather Reynolds, is it?
Yep. So I'm Heather Reynolds. I also live at Rotten Shirley Road. And my
Excuse me, Heather. Somebody's not in mute. And we're getting a scanner, I think. Could you please mute? Thank you. Go ahead, Heather.
yeah. So my question was around. So some of the documentation that we've all gotten, and thanks to Sarah, have been distributed to the whole neighborhood. One of them being the letter that says that there's 42 in and out trucks going, or 21, which is 42 trucks. But in that letter, it clearly states in peak time, it's 5 days a week. But now tonight we're hearing 6 days a week. I'm trying to figure out why there's so many discrepancies in terms of like what we're hearing on a call like this, because I know there are people on the road that couldn't make this call, but then what we're receiving in documentation is not that. So that's upwards, right, of 42 additional in and out of this facility that is not reflected in the documentation provided to the citizens as part of this process.
Chris, please.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, so I'll let Bob Bollinger from our traffic division answer that question. Bob, if you would.
Certainly. Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the board. Robert
Good evening.
Bollinger, Greenman Peterson. I'll try to be brief. In essence, we stand by the trip generation estimates that were contained in the letter which you received yesterday. We tried to base that on the fact that during the peak season in the winter, there would be not more than one large tractor trailer delivery per day. In the summer months, it would be not more than 5 days per week, excuse me. And in the summer, it would be not more than 3 days per week. So the estimates that you see before you have accounted for those trips, not just the single transport vehicle, which occurs on a daily basis. It accounts for employee trips as well as bobtail trips and any miscellaneous trips associated with the site. Beyond that, I'd be happy to entertain more questions, but we feel that the numbers listed in the traffic letter are consistent with the overall site development proposal. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. I'm actually I'm taking a look at that and I see you refer to as weekday, which I'm going to make the assumption is Monday through Friday in your trip generation summary on the letter, Mr. Bollinger.
In essence, any day of the week that the site is open, because I think what you'll see, other than what we heard about this evening regarding Sundays being an emergency case, this could be representative of any full day in which the site is in operation, because it's effectively the same operation, whether it's a Saturday, a Tuesday, or a Thursday, if you will. There's only so many bobtails that can be accommodated on site. There's a maximum number of employees, and there is a limit to the operational hours. So we feel that this is an accurate snapshot of effectively any given day in which the site is in operation.
Thank you very much. I've missed, my things have moved. The person who asked the question, are they
That's
still with
Heather.
us?
Yeah, I just.
Oh, I can see you. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You got moved on my screen. Sorry, Heather.
Yeah.
Thank you.
For my clarity, it's just part of the paragraph right above that says not expected more than 5 days a week. And that's what my concern is, because as I read that, that says the site is expected not more than 5 days a week per week during the winter months and no more than 3 days a week per week during the summer months. I get the daily 42 a day, but the question is that times 6 or is that times 5?
I see I see the sentence you're looking at. Okay. And Mr. Bollinger, I'm going to take you to the first page of your letter. If you have it, fourth paragraph, about halfway in. I think it's conflating large transports and bobtails. Large transports to and from the site are expected not more than 5 days per week during the winter, not more than 3 during the summer. I think, and what we were just discussing, Heather, was the bobtails being 6 days a week. I don't know if that's helpful or not, but I think that's what you were talking about. It's the tractor trailer trucks will be coming only during the week, 5 days of the week. I don't know which 5 days those are, but that's the expectation. Am I correct, Mr. Bollinger?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Again, Robert Bollinger for the record. You stated that perfectly. The bobtails will run per customer demand. Those will run continuously, but the large transports are expected, not more than five days per week. And if there's anyone from the applicant's team that wishes to address the specifics of that any further than I have, they may wish to chime in. But Mr. Tillotson, thank you for, Mr. Chair, thank you for your commentary on that. I think you've nailed it. So
thank you.
Yeah, Bob, I can step in. Mr. Chair, Peter Kropp, Energy North.
Got it. Yep.
Yes, the bobtails, as I stated prior, 6 days, we do operate on 6 during the winter, 6 days a week. Any operation on Sunday would be emergency only. The large transports, as stated in the letter, 5 days a week, no more than 6 transports per week as we see it. So there could be 2 transports on Tuesday and, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you only get 1. But I don't see them operating more than 5 days per week in the winter, 3 days per week in the summer.
Thank you. Does that help, Ms. Reynolds?
Yep, that clarifies things. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I've got Julie, I've got your hand still up, but I've got a guy named Joe Capasso. I'm sorry, Joe.
Hi, this is Joe Capasso. I'm also a resident of Groton Shirley Road. I live at 13 Groton Shirley Road. Been on this road since '97. I think from what I've been listening to, we, the residents of Groton Shirley Road, are mostly concerned about the bobtail trucks and how many of them are going to come down past our houses throughout the day. Our biggest problem, we've been complaining to the town for years, number of different departments. Every time we talk to people, they want to point to another department or blame it on Mass DOT. Bottom line is, what I'd like to do with our neighbors taking part of it, if we all agree, we'd like to actually pursue no trucks or buses except local delivery. We understand we have commercial businesses that get tractor trailers there, that's fine. But our street historically, especially since de-busing, has been down the street in Shirley. We're a major cut through now. We finally just got, the water line put in that prevented all the paving. We now have half of a nice road or 3/4 of a nice road. And, the biggest thing is, how do we take our concerns and actually get action taken done? I know the planning board here really can't decide traffic flow or restrict this company that wants to build this propane facility to get them to agree on they're not going to drive bobtail trucks past our houses. I know they agree the tractor trailers don't need to come down the road and they're going to stay out the other end, and that's great. But the bobtail trucks and other vehicles, we really want to address. Obviously, we're not going to get any answers here or any resolution here. So I think I want to work with people that want to kick this up to the highest level. So how do we properly start that?
I have a suggestion.
Yeah, Ken, please, why don't you, Mr. Diskin?
Mr. Capasso, Ken Diskin. I live at 180 Washington Street, which is probably the busiest street in town as far as speed limit is concerned. And I feel your pain in essence, but I thank you for the information about the buses. I didn't realize that was a topic at all. So I understand now where the buses come across. I went through this when I was trying to talk about some crosswalks, like to the conservation area. And I pleaded to the DPW about some crosswalks and signage and, you know, the pedestrian crossing thing. And basically, the long and short of it is you have to develop a plan on your own and bring it to the Board of Selectmen of the town manager. It ultimately ends up that it goes downhill from the Board of Selectmen to the police department. The police department decide if it's a real problem, and then they go back and make a recommendation, and then they tell the DPW what to do. So I tried to set at the DPW to move up, but I think you really have to just take it to the Board of Selectmen directly and, you know, itemize your concerns in a thorough letter, and maybe get somebody to help you with a drawing on the street or whatever you can get. And then try to make it happen that way. And if your concerns are legitimate, they're going to have to come up with some slowing methods to slow traffic down or exclude trucks from the street coming in certain directions or whatever you guys think will help the neighborhood. But that's just my own suggestion from what I ran into in the past.
All right, thank you, Ken.
Yeah. And also, Mr. Capasso, there was work done on Columbia Street that may be available. There may be somebody around who worked on that might be helpful to you also. There is a truck exclusion for a short way on Columbia Street that runs next to the town hall downtown. Do you have any other issues, Mr. Capasso? Any other thing else you'd like to discuss?
No, that's it. Thank you for your
very
time.
much. No, appreciate your comments.
Mr. Audette.
I have, yes, Mr. Odette's, and I saw Mr. Ed W. So I'm going to go with Mr. Odette, and then I think it's Ed W. who's raising his hand also. Mr. Odette, please.
Yeah, I had a couple questions about the site plan and the traffic. So I see these propane tanks. Does it say 11 feet in diameter on there?
Yes,
sir.
they're 11 feet diameter and 47 feet long.
And I assume those don't sit directly on the ground. Is that correct?
No, they're on concrete piers.
Do you guys have a side elevation that we could see that would show like what this would look like from the road? Just with the propane tanks rendered kind of like a 3D view? I said it's kind of a curb appeal thing for the neighborhood. I know it's an industrial abutment to a residential neighborhood, but we eventually want to sell our homes too. So
Yeah, let me, just give me 1 second. Let me grab another plan.
From the ground to the very top of the tank is roughly 14 feet high.
okay, so they're about 3 feet off the ground on the stands. All right.
As-
You know, and the other reason I bring this up is I've seen other Energy North propane distribution facility installations, such as the one in Nashua on, I can't remember the name of the road, but it's essentially a sand lot, and I don't want to see that in our neighborhood as well. You know, it looks pretty horrible. It abuts a rail trail, and you know, nothing has been done in the 50 or so years that's been installed there. Oh, yeah, it's kind of.
Actually, Mr. Odette, thank you. I know exactly the one you're talking about up in Nashville.
Thank you. I knew someone else would have driven by it.
I've only ridden by it about 30 times or 40 times this year. I rode by it yesterday.
But it's an eyesore, and,
Yes,
and I don't want the eyesore here.
Mhm.
I'd say,
Okay, it doesn't really give us a view from what it would look like from the street, but that would be useful information for the neighborhood to maybe put their mind at ease on what this is going to look like finished. If it's presented with a plan that actually looks halfway decent, I think a lot of the neighbors' concerns would be diminished, at least in terms of curb appeal. A second question I had about the site was, I've lived here for a couple decades now, and I've seen that area of the road flood, be underwater in what would be considered a 100-year flood. I know the lot plan says this isn't in a 100-year floodplain, but I have seen it flood, and I'm wondering if there's any emergency provisions for the propane storage in such an event.
Mr. Chairman, if I can just answer a portion of that, and maybe Jody can answer any of the emergency items. So we've designed the site. If I can grab my grading plan.
So I don't know if any of the residents here remember, but that flood came up to essentially the height of the culvert on Groton Shirley Road.
Yep.
Sure. So the way we've graded our site is basically a simple way of looking at it. The roadway is higher, everything will drain across the site. We do have a drainage swale to pick up anything in the roadway with a small head wall. That head wall is piped out to an above ground, a very large above ground stormwater infiltration basin in the rear. That will infiltrate into the ground, and then whatever does not get into the ground, into the water table, will overtop via stone emergency overflow berm, and that will continue to the rear of the site.
Okay, well, the flooding was caused by the Nashua River, I believe. Again, it's more of a volume of water. You're not going to drain that off. It's going to inundate the site, and you know what happens in that scenario.
Yeah, and I think what you're when you described it as overwhelming the culvert on the road from the river, Mr. Audette.
Yeah,
I understand what you're saying. We have not yet done the stormwater work on this, and I appreciate you. I honestly appreciate you bringing it forward. From an emergency standpoint, that was the other question I'm curious about. How does it impact a Jody? Can you speak to that?
We have built facilities like this right along rivers, and if it warrants, they can be strapped down. And what that involves is metal strapping from one pier to the other, just holding it in place. But in my 31 years of experience, even living in Vermont during Hurricane Irene or Tropical Storm Irene, we never had problems with bulk plants.
I guess, you know, again on the traffic, you know, as neighbors and abutters, it would be greatly appreciated if, you know, the bulk of the traffic was routed off Fitchburg Road onto the main roadways instead of a residential street. It takes a beating, and you know, it's only until recently, in the last probably 20 years that I've lived here, that the road has been in a really decent shape. But it's only been that way for 2 weeks. So, are there any fire hydrants nearby this facility, or is there just a standpipe at the end of the road?
No, there's two in close proximity that the fire department gave me information on, and that they feel are sufficient.
All right. Those were my questions.
Thank you. Ed W., I believe. Yes.
Okay, I'm not sure if you can hear me okay.
We can hear you, sir.
Okay, I was really happy to hear you acknowledge, you know, the problems on Groton Shirley Road from a safety standpoint and from the resident standpoint. But I'd like to see something formalized with this piece, because I think the agreement or the offer by either the designers or the operators was to restrict any eastbound traffic on Groton Shirley to only local deliveries on Groton Shirley. I think that's a very satisfactory solution, but it can't be hearsay, it can't be talked. Something needs to be formalized on that so that you have training and certification for the operators for that piece, and the signage that we need for each entrance of the property confirms that. Is that a problem?
Thank you, sir. Your audio was breaking up a little bit. I was trying to make sure that we got it. I believe what your request is, it's not your fault. We have my understanding is we have a Comcast issue. Listen, our cell phones don't often work in this town also. So, but the request is you want to limit your request is limiting the bobtail traffic only to deliveries from the plant to the Groton Shirley Road, and not to use it as an access through to roads beyond.
Correct.
So
anybody want? Yeah, Mr. Diskin.
So I guess I'd start with Mr. Ashenbo, and legally, can we condition a project of this sort to that extent? That would be my first question.
Yeah. When discussing this with the fire chief, he recommended against that. I think you would need, and Ken, what you mentioned before, and Jeff mentioned is for the residents of Garden Shirley Road to seek possibly a truck exclusion clause that would, allow deliveries to the residents, but prohibit, pass-through bobtails or whatever. I think that's something that the residents should explore with the selectmen. And as Jeff mentioned, the selectmen will then direct the fire police chiefs to work with the DPW to see if a truck exclusion measure can be put in place. But I would be hesitant for the planning board to condition no bobtails without, such a formal study.
I would be happy to have the owner and operator of the facility offer that up as an incentive for us. I don't see why they would not do that. I heard them just offer it before. I just want to formalize that.
I'd ask for a response from Energy North on that. I think it's a good question.
Thank you. Yeah, again, Ed, your audio was breaking up a little bit, but the request is from Energy. Did you get it, Energy North?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I think they understand, Ed. Mr. Crop?
Yes, Mr. Chair. We will work with the community and we will make best efforts to restrict all traffic to 2A. I think it behooves us to restrict traffic to 2A for the safety of our drivers and our surrounding neighbors. As far as going and putting something in writing, that is something I'll have to go back and talk to my team about.
Just one last question. One thing that wasn't mentioned is that there's a lot of school buses every morning and every afternoon, which is prime delivery time for you. And to see bobcats going down the road and large school buses coming the other way is a very scary situation. I just do not think this is really an acceptable way to live and to take care of our kids. And again, I've seen the buses go by this, it's just not a good situation to increase the number of propane tanks across there. So we've run through a lot of pieces, but I just want to emphasize the fact that if we can, what you guys propose is several piece, and if we can restrict it to local traffic, I think a lot of our concerns will go away and get simplified for you. I have one more question. I assume with this plan says that we can only have 4 bobcats at a time, since they're the source of our traffic. If you went to 6 or 8 on this, that would not be allowed under the permit and process. Am I confused or not?
Again, I'm going to restate the question. On the current plans, there's parking on the property for 4 bobtails only because your audio was in and out a little bit, or maybe I'm having difficulty here. And the question is, will there be more than 4?
Yes. Yeah, if there is more, will have to be re-permitted for that.
I don't have an answer. Mark, do you have an answer to that question?
I have an answer.
Yeah, please, Mr.
Ken.
Go ahead, Mark.
No, go ahead, Ken.
Go ahead, Mark. Go first.
No, I don't have an answer right. So go ahead.
My answer is that your question is correct. And if there's more trucks parked on the site than we approve, that's an increase that's a change in the parking. So the parking will change. If the parking changes, they have to come back to site plan approval. So the best of my knowledge is a commercial property that has approved parking and makes a parking change has to come back to the planning board for additional approval to that parking change, which would mean we could turn it down or decide. In my estimation, as a member of the board and only one member, this plan rules, and it can't be changed without coming back and notifying the abutters and having another set of hearings.
Thank you. Does that satisfy your question?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Miss,
bad connection.
I'm sorry?
Thank you for putting up with my bad connection.
I couldn't hear you because of the bad connection. Thank you, sir. Michael Dent, I believe, has his hand up.
Yes, I just had one more question. The other thing I want to try to avoid here in our town is, we're starting to move away from fossil fuels, propane being a fossil fuel byproduct. When this becomes not profitable, is there any plan at the end of its operational period to remediate the site and to remove the tanks?
Thank you. Energy North?
I'll let Pete talk to that if he even has an answer on that.
Oh, wait, I'm not going to comment on that. We see the future, especially moving, you talk about moving away from fossil fuels. We see the future in propane, perhaps moving away from heating oil, but we see a long, successful future in the propane business.
Thank you. Mr. Audette? So, do you have anything? Your hand is still up. Do you have? No? Okay.
No, I'm all set. I did want to say thank you to the board for inviting us all and being very forthcoming with this. We do appreciate it.
Well, I say this all the time. We want input. We do. Pauline's
Thank you, Jeff. Yes, thank you for acknowledging. I just chimed in. Listening to the entire.
Excuse me, would you please identify yourself and where do you live?
Oh, I'm sorry, Jeff. Yes, Pauline Conley, Cambridge Street, just down the street from the 250,000 pound restriction on Columbia, which is not my focus right now. My focus is more on the residents of Groton Shirley Road who have asked, what do we do if traffic starts meandering through I think it would be the eastern part of Groton Shirley Road with the Bobcats and so on. And Mr. Diskin has said twice, at least that I heard, that it would require a new site review plan. What exactly must the residents do to cause that to happen?
I think clarification, Pauline, what I said, I was talking about parking, not the use of the street.
All right, Ken, thank you. But I heard something about if traffic was going, for lack of a better term, the wrong way on Groton Shirley Road, what exactly might the residents do? We can call Ayer Police on a regular basis, but if there's no.
Excuse me, Pauline, I'm sorry, this is out of the purview of the planning board. Excuse me, we are not an enforcement agent. We do not have an enforcement agent.
I agree with you.
Thank you. They would have to rely upon public safety, as we stated earlier.
So there is no restriction for traffic going east on Groton Shirley Road, no matter the size or otherwise. Is that what I'm understanding you're saying?
I am unaware of any restrictions. Excuse me, Ken. It is my understanding that Groton Shirley Road has no restrictions on it now for any traffic at all. But I'm not a traffic person and I'm not a member of public safety from the standpoint of traffic on a road in Ayer, Massachusetts. Thank you.
And have I not misunderstood? There has been no discussion of restricting traffic use on Groton Shirley Road if this plan is approved?
Mr. Chairman, if I may, let me try to hopefully not botch this in my discussion here. What we're looking at is 42 trips based on the letter that we provided, which essentially means 21 trips, correct? If we round that up to 24, just for sake of argument, we have a 12-hour day. That equates to 2 vehicles per hour. That would also mean that 100% of all of these vehicles are going down Groton Shirley Road. Based on the proximity of this site to, I believe it's 2A, correct?
Yeah.
It would not make any sense in anybody's world for 100% of those vehicles to go down Groton Shirley Road. They're going to go towards 2A. Assume 50% of the vehicles go down Groton Shirley Road. You're looking at one vehicle per hour going down that road. Bob, I'm throwing this out there right now. Bob, does that kind of make sense in your traffic point of view?
Yes, Chris, thank you. Mr. Chair, for the record, Robert Bollinger, Greenman Peterson. I agree with Chris's arithmetic. It may not speak to the larger issue, I think, which was presented to the board tonight with regard to prohibitions and who legally makes that decision. But sticking to Chris's examination of the arithmetic, I think that's a proper and reasonable assessment. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Bollinger.
Right. And the only reason I wanted to bring that up, Mr. Chairman, is we're not talking about 30, 40, 50 vehicles an hour. We're talking about 21 vehicles in a 12-hour period. And that would, again, reiterating, that's saying 100% of those cars, pardon me, bobtails, go down Groton Shirley Road, which I think we all know. I do believe I have an aerial. So let me just share my screen for that. So just from a proximity point of view, this is where our site is located. This is the intersection.
Yep.
This is 2A. We're talking a few hundred feet to go down Groton Shirley Road to get to 2A. In comparison, driving all the way down Groton Shirley Road, meandering through all these neighborhoods. I'm zooming out. It just doesn't make any logical sense for the bobtails to have to go from this point here all the way down Groton Shirley Road to 111 here, when they could just come out to 2A and be on their merry way. So I think we might be losing track of the amount of vehicles that we're talking about and just the reality of what they're going to do. They're going to go down 2A. I'm not saying that there's going to be no traffic going in that direction, but
So,
the
Mr.
majority
Chair,
of it will
since
go
I,
that way.
thank you, Chris. Since I brought this up, Mr. Chair, I just want to say one thing.
I'm sorry, you've not been recognized, Pauline.
I still have the floor, Mr. Chair. You didn't terminate my conversation. So you last recognized me, and I'll just say one last thing. It only takes one propane carrier to have one accident to cause a huge problem, whether they are on Groton Shirley Road or Fitchburg Road. So there's no lack of enforcement. I understand the planning board is not responsible for that, nor is the planning board responsible for the 250,000 pound limit on Columbia Street, which is not enforced. So I will leave it at that and let the rest of the residents decide how they want to deal with this. Thank you so much.
Other questions? I'm sorry, I don't have a name, but I have an email address. Mr. Johnson?
That's correct. Can you hear me? No.
Yes. Yes, please, Mr. Johnson. Is it Mr. Johnson? Yes, please.
So I have just one question I haven't heard mentioned about through all this. So we're going to have this 14-foot high tank, set of tanks sitting down the street here. Has anybody reviewed what the danger is from having the Shirley Gun Club a quarter mile up the road with its range shooting in the directions of these tanks? Is there some kind of safety mechanism there? So if they get hit by a stray bullet, there's not a catastrophic problem?
I was not aware that it was there. The fire chief and police chief made no mention of it.
I don't think anybody has an answer for you at this point, Mr. Johnson, but I do appreciate you bringing it. And Mr. Johnson, for the record, could you please just state your address?
39 Groton Shirley Road. My name's Ernest Johnson.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that people were aware of that. I don't know that we've ever had a problem up here, but I know we are downrange from the shooting range of the Shirley Gun Club, which is just literally a quarter mile up the road in direct line with this tank area.
Thank you.
All right. That's all I have. Thank you.
And excuse me, and it just out of curiosity, I'm just going to ask one clarification question. That actually is in Shirley, correct?
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
And
I
the
thought so.
river that's in this
Yeah.
map is the Lump Water.
No, I understand. I understand what you're asking, Mr. Johnson. I think that's a valid question to ask. And the reason why it may not have come to anybody's mind is because it's across town lines. We don't always think about that.
I just happen to be the president of the Ayer Gun and Sportsman's Club. So I'm mindful of that. There could be a stray bullet. At Ayer, we have a huge mountain in behind it, but at Shirley, from what I've seen, it is not.
Thank you.
Thank you for.
I think you brought a reasonable concern to the table, an important concern. Thank you. Other folks who might have concerns.
I have two quick things.
Sarah, go ahead. Yep. Again, small squares on my screen. I got to figure who's speaking. Go ahead.
You know my voice. Okay, so Fitchburg Road is about 44 feet at least, and our road is like 22 to 24 feet. I just wanted to just add that to the discussion. I don't know how many how many school buses come down, but that is a really relevant point. The school buses come right down all the time. And like on a very, I mean, this is their street. This is their driveway almost. The last thing is I just wanted to ask when we're going to get to see something in writing before you approve it.
I'm sorry, when you say something in writing, the conditions for the
Site plan review? Site plan approval?
Decision.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was, when you said school buses, it occurred to me. Now I know what you're talking about. Way up on 2A on the way in Shirley is that huge school bus company.
Yep, D-bus.
D-bus. And I would ask the question, has anybody on your road worked with them, reached out to them yet about the amount of traffic that comes down your road? But that's an aside at this point. I don't want to put anybody on the spot. But you kept saying school buses, then it suddenly dawned on me. Oh yeah, I drive by that every now and again when I'm going up into Shirley. Okay. The question you had, so I'm sorry, I lost my way, believe it or not. So what you're asking is, so we've got some steps. Why don't we talk about the next steps in the process are, and maybe that'll be helpful.
Yeah.
Okay. Mark, you want to take a moment and talk about the next steps in the process?
Yes, it appears that we'll be, continuing the discussion to the next meeting. So in the meantime, I will explore more about the, procedure and the process for the truck exclusion, just so that we can relate that at the next meeting. I'll be putting out a staff report again a week before the meeting on the 23rd, which I can share with, it'll be on the website, as well as something that can be shared with anybody who would like it. So basically we're very close. So the planning board needs to vote on the waiver. Then we need to finalize the conditions of approval, if that is how the board is leaning. And lastly, on the 23rd, we need to take up review and approval of the stormwater management plan, which our DPW director will be assisting with. So what I could do now is read. This might help to edify things for the people on Groton Shirley Road. I'll read the conditions as I wrote them for this evening, which could be subject to some tweaking. First one would be deliveries of propane to the 99 Fitchburg Road Energy North facility by large trucks, or we could say propane delivery trucks, must use the entrance from Fitchburg Road and not enter the site from the east on Groton Shirley Road, or exit the site down Groton Shirley Road unless emergency or other conditions necessitate. Number 2, prior to any building permits being issued, the applicant shall stripe the extension or spur of Fitchburg Road serving the site to clarify traffic lanes and assist traffic flow entering and exiting the site. Number 3, the applicant shall install and on and or off-site signage as discussed with the planning board at its November 9th meeting and as shown in a new exhibit or amendment to the final approved plan set. So we want to see the signage indicated on the new plan. And lastly, it concerned the tax collector noted that there were the prior owner had some financial obligations that needed to be clarified. So that's what I had for the conditions going into this evening, though once I review the notes that I've taken, there may be a little bit more for the next meeting. So basically, my recommended process is for the planning board to consider everything that was discussed this evening. We'll fine tune the conditions, discuss them at the next meeting, also vote on the waiver and take up the stormwater.
Okay, Mark, can I ask, put it on your list, and I'm going to follow up on this also, Mr. Johnson's concern about the Groton Shirley Gun, the Shirley Rod and Gun Club.
Yes, I will look up that location and look into that. Yep.
And let's bring that to Mr. Gill, Chief Gill's attention. I'm sorry, the chief's in plural attention, and find out if it has anything, any bearing on them. And I'm sure Jody, you'll be following up on that too, from your end.
Yes, I will.
Oh, thank you. I saw your head shake, but this is the world of Zoom. We have to say it out loud. Yes. Okay, thank you. Any other comments from the board at this point? Do we want
one more on the landscape, now that I look at it a little more here. So Chris, the proposed barn structure has the landscape planting beds in a U shape. Would it be possible for us to extend that, flatten that out so the line goes right across on a straight line and some along the side as well? Extend more where you've got the snow storage on that dotted line. There you go, both sides there. So make it create some additional screening from the road, not just wrapping it around the building.
Yep, we can look into making that change.
In those planting beds that I'm looking at there, again, I'm sorry about, I didn't look at the detail that closely. Those are bark mulch, I would guess, with planting.
That is correct, sir.
Okay. All right. So any effort on just double checking all the opportunities to screen or improve the look of the site, I'm sure everyone will appreciate. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Diskin. Any other members of the board have any further comments they want to make at this point? I don't see anybody raising their hand either virtually or in person. So I'm going to say, Mr. Krantz, if you're ready to go, we can do a continuation. Excuse me, does the board want to act on the waiver for the driveway right now? That was on our list from the beginning of this meeting.
I just assume, yes.
Okay.
So everyone else.
Would you like to make a motion, Mr. Diskin?
Geez, I hate to take that away from Mr. Krantz.
We're giving him the 30 seconds he needs to put it together.
I'll make a motion that the planning board grant the waiver for driveway width as delineated in the air zoning bylaw, section 9.1.5.b.1, and allow for the driveways width to be widened as shown on the drawings, one driveway being 35 feet in width and the other being 40 feet in width at the property lines.
Seconded.
Seconded by Mr. Krantz. Thank you very much. Any discussion from the board on this item?
I just want to clarify that, Mark, you did mention that this is based on some discussion with the police department and the fire department, and we all agree that the turning radius is required per the drawing.
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
yes. In fact, I received a email from Lieutenant Bob at the fire department indicating that he reviewed the revised site plan and found it, acceptable.
Okay, just
you.
double check. Thank you.
Okay. People have moved on the screen. Mr. Diskin, you are first to vote this time.
Aye.
Mr. King,
Aye.
Mr. Krantz,
Aye.
Ms. Murray,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. So that waiver has been granted. Now, Mr. Krantz, would you like to do the motion to continue, please?
Yeah, I move that we continue the site plan review for 99 Fitchburg Road to our next meeting on November 23rd.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, if I may just ask a quick question.
Yeah, of course you may.
Revised plans and information, when would they be required to be back to the board so we can make sure that we have it in time for the next meeting?
Basically 1 week before the meeting. So the prior Tuesday, Wednesday would be fine, but no later than that. Yep.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, also, excuse me, no, the holiday is after the meeting. I was just thinking it through in my head. Okay, great. So we have a motion. Do we have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. King, for a second. Any further discussion from members of the board? Hearing none. Mr. Diskin, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. King?
Aye.
Mr. Krantz?
Aye.
Ms. Murray?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Thank you very much, gentlemen and ladies from.
Thank you very much. We'll see you next meeting.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Right.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yep.
We
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you all. We have a.
Good night, Ernie. Good night.
Town planner update announcements, Mark.
Okay, I will keep it short. One thing I remembered in looking at my minutes from last meeting is that Jonathan mentioned the desirability of inviting the director of the Montechusett Regional Planning Commission, Glenn Eaton, to our next meeting to describe somewhat briefly what MRPC does and how they can assist us with various planning efforts. And I think that's very timely, especially with the passage of the infrastructure bill at the federal level. And I believe that over the next few years, there'll be a lot more transportation improvement money coming or being available to states and towns. So it would be a good time to find out what they can do for us in general, and also what we can do to meet them halfway with planning for those funds. So if everybody is okay with that, I will extend the invitation to Glenn to join us at that next meeting, probably right at the top of the meeting, so that we can.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, and Jonathan, you can help me with, thank you, Mark. If you could, Jonathan, help me with this. I think he's traveling the week of Thanksgiving and not available. So we had discussed very quickly, could we go until the 8th? And we'd also discussed, we'd also kind of agreed with him that we would give him a fairly focused, let's not talk about everything he does in his life. Let's figure out what's focused and what's helpful to us. So the answer is yes, I'd like to keep him on the going forward. I think it'd be valuable to us for all the reasons you stated. And Jonathan, what do you say we reach back out to him and see if we can get it set up for the first meeting in December?
Yeah, Mark, do you want to do that? Or do you want to read?
Sure, no, I can contact him.
You would do that? Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah.
You want to copy me on that if possible?
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
And I'm more than happy to take a few minutes to sit down and work on an agenda with him, find out what he wants to do and find out what we do. I would appreciate it from a scheduling standpoint, given what else we've got going on. We might give him the first 15-20 minutes of the meeting. Okay. We open the agenda, let him do his thing, and then we'll jump into the deep water of what we're doing.
Right.
If that's okay with the rest of the board. Okay. Yep. Other announcements that you may have?
The only other announcement I had was very quickly that the Ayer Shirley Regional High School athletic field upgrade will be before us on, I believe, December 14th also.
Thank you.
But Mark, we had a issue with that. We need to figure out the notifications. That was the question I had for you.
Okay, could you restate that since?
So we need to figure out how if we're notifying public hearing notice for the Ayer Shirley High School, because if we do, we don't meet the deadline for we need to know if the board's gonna waive that, if they request it, or if we're gonna do notifying of butters. I just need to know that so I can tell them, so they get everything to me for the application in time for the 14th.
Yeah, given it's a town project.
You're talking about clarifying our regulations, our internal regulations, Heather, right?
Correct.
Not a state.
Because it's stated in there that to have a public hearing notice, which is on average $330, to see if the board would waive that right for the school project.
Waive the fee.
No,
Waive the public hearing notice.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you.
the advertisement and everything.
Do we have any feedback from anybody on the board?
I'd like to go.
I'd like to know what we did in the past, but I think it's a reasonable thing, given that it's a town project and it's been discussed in various venues, that it's probably reasonable to waive that.
Right. Mr. Chair.
Yeah, please.
I can tell you that when the Groton Shirley Road was repaired and the DPW had to go before conservation, I don't believe anything was waived. They had to do all the notices and let people know. So I just kind of the feeling that we should, I know it's a town project, but it's can be a hot issue if we don't notify people that things are going on. So kind of leaning towards put them through the regular process. Unless there's a real deadline, that, you know, we're gonna goof up a deadline or bidding or something like that.
Yeah, didn't they say they were anticipating construction mostly in the spring? So if that is still true, then it shouldn't matter if they get bumped one meeting because of that.
I'm gonna look at the calendar. As you all know, I'm kind of all about making sure that we give notice. Heather, help me with the dates right now. When would you need to have?
Yeah, so the paper deadline, the paper's deadline is 4 p.m. on Monday. They would like to come.
Monday the 15th.
Every Monday, it's 4 p.m. And I don't know if anything's gonna change because of Thanksgiving week. They don't like to tell us. I have to ask.
Got it.
So with them, they want to come on the 14th. That was the question I was asked by the engineer.
The 14th
I can make December.
Should be time, plenty of time.
So I have just enough time as long as I get it done by Monday. I get everything from them and in the notice in the paper, it goes to the paper on Monday.
Okay, and the person who's working on this project.
That was Jonathan Chardwick. That was yeah, he's the one that emailed me yesterday.
I would share with Mr. Chardwick that in order for him to get on that meeting, he needs to get what we need to get it this week.
Okay.
Seriously, I see Mark shaking his head up and down, but
I'm agreeing. I wasn't sure. I was confused a little bit on, I thought that if we didn't do it, they wouldn't be able to make the 14th at all.
No, I see what you're saying, Heather.
Now I'm clear. Yeah.
I've got
It all depends on how the paper's handling everything on the week of Thanksgiving. Which again, I won't know until I ask them.
Yep. And if you're prepared on Monday morning to post it in the paper, what the paper ends up doing with it, I hate to say it, it's out of our hands, but we'll also
I've had notices drafted, just waiting for them to come in so I can get them in the paper on time before.
Exactly. So if you can do that, that'd be great. And we will do our own best to make sure people know about it as much as possible. I know people are watching this project, so I can't imagine it wouldn't have somebody looking at it. And it would be nice for us to remind the folks there that as soon as we can get it, we can do the work on it and be prepared for the meeting. Okay. Anything else in the way of updates?
Nope, that's all I have.
Okay. Next on our agenda, the meeting minutes for October 12th and October 26th. And once again, Mr. Krantz, I'm going to say thank you so much for working on getting these done. And Heather, thank you very much for turning those around today. So can we have motions? For
A
minute
motion
approval?
to approve the meeting minutes for October 12th, 2021.
Seconded.
Thank you very much. Seconded by Ms. Murray. Any discussion? Hearing none. We've moved again.
With
Mr.
Jeff, real quick, I just want to make sure that my notes that I sent back to the board were clear about why I didn't make some of the changes that Jonathan had suggested.
I read the email. I had no question. I had no,
Okay.
I
just want to make sure that was clear on why those changed, why I left certain things a certain way. I didn't hear from anybody, but just want to make sure that everything's good.
I'm going to paraphrase it and Heather's going to correct me because, you know, I can get things backwards easily. You were doing the notes for the push to get 14 Washington Street, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, and the corrections, Mr. Krantz, that she felt that were recommended would not have worked out properly because the way we had to handle that motion.
Yes.
Oh, okay, that one. All right, yeah.
Okay, it's, if you think about it, we did something future past, so I was okay with her explanation of that.
That, and then the discussion on 99 Fitchburg Road, it is the trucks, obviously the discussion tonight, you obviously can see the trucks are coming in on Groton Shirley Road. They're not coming off of Fitchburg Road, they turn onto Groton Shirley Road and then into the facility. So I wanted to make sure that that was clear as well.
Yeah, and that's actually one of the sticking points is when we were out there, Heather, just so you know, I actually asked the police chief to walk me on which road was which, because it doesn't make any sense at all that the current vendor that's there, he's not physically on Fitchburg Road anymore. The driveway is actually on Groton Shirley Road.
Yeah.
So even though his address is different, but I understand
just
how
wanted
hard
to
it
make
is to
sure
change. Yeah. Yep. No, I
those were
work
all
for.
clear.
Thank you. So yes, they were clear. The notes were clear and they were clear to me. So
Thank you.
thank you for bringing that up. Given that motion and second for the minutes for October 12th has been made. Mr. Diskin, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. King?
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Krantz.
Aye.
Thank you, Ms. Murray.
Aye.
And chair votes aye. Okay, Mr. Krantz, October 26th minutes.
Yeah, I make a motion that we approve the meeting minutes for October 26, 2021.
Seconded.
Seconded by Ms. Murray. Thank you very much. Any further discussion? Mr. Diskin, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. King?
Aye.
Mr. Krantz?
Aye.
Thank you, Ms. Murray.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. I've got a couple things under administrative announcements I wanted to talk about. I don't know if you have any, Mark, in the old business, new business before we adjourn. And Cindy, may I ask, can we have about 10 more minutes? She may not be there. Oh, there she
I
is.
am here. Yes, you absolutely may have 10 more minutes.
Cindy,
Or
thank you.
15, whatever you need.
I'm going to go fast because otherwise it's getting late.
Okay.
Thank you very much. So
You're
under old business, something we tossed around, and we've been very busy lately, guys, and I appreciate how busy we are. But I really want to see if we can't get some updates going on some of the projects that are in place. I think all of us have an eye on what's going on over on the residential projects. We've actually went and walked one of them, which is good. We've seen the other ones. My understanding is the Shaken Mill Pond has the sewer connect in place, and they're going to start actually going to the next phase over there pretty quickly. And that site's actually pristine. It's clean. I mean, it's really interesting how that one looks. The one that I've been looking at, and I think Mr. King can probably talk about this, is the one over at Catania. It is absolutely amazing what is going over on Catania Spania. And if you get a moment to go over there, I would recommend going later in the day when the construction ends, usually around 2:45, 3 o'clock, before the sun goes down. And if you can do it the next couple of days, if you, what's the name of the road that goes in there, Nathan?
Westford.
I'm sorry?
Westford.
No,
Road,
the spur road that comes off of Westford Road. Nemco Way.
Nemco.
Drive in Nemco Way to the far end of the entrance on the right, the first entrance there. And there's a huge pile of 3/4 crusher run there. Behind that, take a look at what's in the ground. I don't think you could imagine what's going in there. So in the process of they put the underground water containment facility in basically, and they're backfilling it right now. But it is pretty big. And if you ever, we talk about Cultec systems, this is not a Cultec system, but if you ever want to look at what an underground or a subsurface water retention system looks like, this one's writ large. It's really big. The request I had, Mark, is do we want to set a moment to have Catania walk us through what they're doing? I'm assuming Mr. Schultz is there on a regular basis. Everything's moving forward very quickly over there, but it'd be cool to look at, guys, because I know we walked that whole property. It's amazing what they're doing. They're doing everything but picking up that building and putting it back in place. And some of the largest borrow piles I've ever seen in my career are behind that building. And it's a fairly clean, and it's a good clean site. So it's worth going over and seeing what's going on in Catania.
Okay, yeah, I'll contact them and try to arrange a site visit for us.
If it's too difficult to arrange a site visit, Mark, it'd be great if you could just give them a call and say, is it okay if the members, pull in off the road, walk across the parking lot, look
Sure.
over the pile, and we may or may not have questions for them. And if anybody wants me to join them, I'm happy to. As a matter of fact, I ran into a gentleman I used to work with out there when I was out there the other day.
I'm sure, Jeff, there's a site foreman you'd have to get safety approval from to walk that site. It's so busy.
Oh, no, I appreciate that. That's what I actually never left the road. You can see an awful lot by never leaving the road. If you walk past that big, huge pile of stone on the right-hand side of the road and just look across what used to be the grassy area behind that building, you will get a real good feeling. And you can do it from the front seat of your car. Don't even get out of the car. Just pull over to the right and take a look. It's pretty amazing to see it. And you'll see the access points for cleaning out and stuff like that. So that's it. But I would like Catania to know we're looking at them. And if you hadn't seen the Catania thing on the TV set recently, that company is on the move. I also sent out, Mark, did I send this out to the whole board or just to you? The piece on Airbnb. I don't think you sent it to the whole board.
I don't think you sent it to the whole board.
No, I didn't. I sent it to Mark and Heather, and it's okay that you guys didn't get it. But if I may, Julie, could I have screen sharing for a moment?
Thanks.
Because
yeah, you have it now. You just got to look at the bottom of the screen. Yep.
Okay. I need to find where I put it, because of course I worked on it earlier this week and can't remember where I put it. Okay. So as you all know, we had a request to take a look into, and here's screen share. Excuse me for a moment. Here we go. Hopefully you can all see that. So I'm going to just touch the tops of the waves, and there's more to dig in on this. But I wanted to tell people that really what it comes down to is so start from the top. The Commonwealth adapted a law called Chapter 337 of the Acts of 2018, and it's called the Short-Term Rental Bill. And in a nutshell, it establishes a bunch of things. And the reason I'm doing this is I looked for communities like us that may or may not have a short-term rental Airbnb type local bylaw or local law. And what I found is there really isn't any out there. So we may be we may be doing something new. And as I read through it, first things first, it's almost 50 pages long. It's pretty cool. But there is a opinion from an attorney that helps to start thinking about it. So some things we can do that are required by the law, First things first is it establishes a registry, and it establishes a registry for all short-term rentals. In other words, Commonwealth of Massachusetts is requiring people who do short-term rentals to register the property. It establishes an acceptable permitting process. And these are what the towns can, so the law exists and towns can do things that are a little bit broader, that are less generic and more designed for the towns. It establishes an acceptable permitting process. We can do our own permitting process if we want. The number of permits that we can make available, the styles of residences that can be used in the process, some of the restrictions it allows you to do based on local zoning, like a local zoning map. You can only put it in this area, not that area. This was interesting. Proximity to and impact upon public resources. A large portion of the short-term rental bill is section 2, and or I think it's section 2. Section 2, Cape Cod and the Islands Water Protection Area. Cape Cod's an aquifer. So they have their own subset of rules on how to do this. So if we had people who were in our aquifer, we would not be remiss in having a separate set of rules in the aquifer. Establishes a local excise tax of up to 6%. In Boston, it's higher, but it's up to 6%. It establishes that a minimum of 35% of local excise tax to be used towards affordable housing efforts. It can be 100%. We can also set a fee structure. So if you want to have an Airbnb, you pay the town, I don't know, $50 for a fee plus 6% of all the income from that year as a rent, and it's payable. And so there, it allows towns to set limits on many aspects of the rental. How many days rented? Owner occupancy. Does it have utility connections? Inspections and inspection schedule. And it ultimately requires an adoption by town meeting to have this done. And when you think about utility connections, we've talked about, if it's not connected to water and sewer, it's not a Airbnb. There's a new group out there called Hip Camp, and there's a group out there, another one I've come across, where people rent tent opportunities and camper opportunities in their property. Okay, if our restriction is you've got to be connected to town sewer, you got to be connected to town sewer. So these are the things in the scope that you're allowed as a local municipality to do. And farther down this, and I'll send this off to people, is first of all, the MGL Chapter 337 Acts of 2018. That's wild. That typo exists in the Commonwealth's website. I just copied and pasted that. And then Amanda Zaritas did a memo on Chapter 337 for the Acts for the massmunicipal.law.org. And I'm going to unshare this screen at this point. If you're not familiar with mass muni law, what attorneys do is they will go through a law and figure out what parts of it, what each part of the law is. So you can just jump right in and work with the sections you want. It's kind of like having Mark around when we need to know what's going on in our bylaw. Sometimes you can just ask Mark what section. When Ken's not available, you got to ask Mark, but usually ask Ken, what's 9.6.3, Ken, and he tells you, I will send around, and Mark, I send a copy to Mark. I'll send around copies of these to everybody. There's going to be a little more work than I thought in the beginning, and we got to choose where to go with this. And that is how soon we can put it together. If we're going to be bringing a bylaw about short-term rentals to the town, it wouldn't be until fall of next year, because we typically do zoning changes in the fall. And I think we can probably do it. But it really does give the community a lot of control over what is available, where it's available, how long it's available, and stuff like that. So I will give, I'm happy to have conversations with any of you on a individual basis. We can talk about it in a meeting if you want, but why don't I send this around to you all and start thinking about it? Because we are in, I used this expression last night, we're at an inflection point right now with a great many of our more vulnerable residents of town. With Devon's Crest, with Mimi's Place tomorrow evening's meeting about that, and then possibly something going over at the Ayer Motor Inn. We've got a lot of displaced people. And the concern is that we need to do what we can to maintain rental stock. So we have rental property here in town. And Airbnb is one of the groups that cuts into that. So I'd like to see us keep moving forward on it. And I apologize for not getting more done until this point, but really what it comes down to is we're gonna probably end up crafting a bylaw. With that said, any questions? Any desire to keep moving forward? I'd be happy to put it down. Yeah. So I'll keep picking away at it and stuff. And you know, I read through the law. I read through the lawyer's opinion, and it suddenly dawned on me. It's kind of tabula rasa. We can do what we need to do. And I think the way we start is to identify the sections of town and how we might think about doing this. And people who have properties are required by Mass General Law to be in compliance. The taxes have to be paid. There can be no liens. They have to have, they have to be code compliant. In Boston, you can't have a complaint against you for non-compliant code non-compliance. So it's really an interesting way of working. And the Airbnb companies know that these exist now. So they look to the owners who are advertising their properties to make sure they're in compliance. So that's where that stands. Does it need to happen right away? I don't know. I think it's something that's important that we do as we move forward, though. And thank you for letting me speak for almost 15 minutes. Wow. Thanks, Cindy. How'd you know? Any other questions or any other observations from people?
Old business or new business? No.
Yeah, I did this under old and new business. If you have old and new business, by all means, you got something, Mr. Diskin?
I wanted to ask Mark if he could do a little research and bring it back to the planning board. And I want to say in March of 2020 or 2021, I'm not sure which, there was a legislative change that promotes affordable housing. And it particularly, it changes the voting requirement at a town meeting from a 2/3 to a majority vote for zoning changes. I thought it would be important for you to get that information to the planning board for us to have it in our file so we can keep a copy of it. So, we talked about it at the affordable housing meeting and other conferences we go to or whatever, but it'd be nice for the planning board to know that, if you have a certain type of a proposal in front of town meeting that is in the benefit of affordable housing, that it only needs a majority vote instead of a 2/3 supermajority, whatever they call it, at town meeting.
Yep.
There's a whole group of changes that were put through. So if you could get us a copy of that, I'd appreciate it.
Yes, I will. I will go on the listserv and find that. Yep, thank you.
Exactly. Finally, and this is for information, not for discussion, I'm going to ask Mark to distribute the notes that I sent to him after I put together a quick what we handled last Saturday when we were on the site walk at Stratton Hill. And I sent it over to Mark, so he has a copy of it. And I think it would be nice if we just send it around to everybody before the next meeting. Okay. Anything else? Been a long day so far. Thank you very much. It is, with that, I think a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Krantz. I'm going to go, hey, I love this. Mr. Diskin, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. King,
Aye.
Ms. Murray,
Aye.
Mr. Krantz,
Aye.
and the chair says aye. Good night, all. Thank you very much for everything you did tonight.